What is up, babies? I'm Boy. This is my channel, and it's writing time. Like, every Monday. Or it's like, I just feel like I'm supposed to introduce it as if like this is the first time I've been doing this every Monday for like over a year at this point. seems like maybe there's a certain degree of it's expected to anyone who's here at the outset that this is what's happening. It's on my schedule and everything. It's all there. It's all there for all of us to see. But still, just for the sake of the VODs and everything, it's nice to, add that. But at any rate, welcome. Glad to have you here, whether you're watching live or watching the VOD after the fact. I don't know. Man, I don't know. Whatever way you appreciate watching, I appreciate providing you entertainment. So it's good to see everyone here on this lovely Monday. It's a gorgeous day, man. We've reached the very pretty, very nice part of the year weather-wise around here. We get a wide range of weather where I live, because we're surrounded by lakes, and everything. So we get a lot of varied weather patterns and everything because of that. But around this time of year is when we start getting some really nice weather. We're kind of at the end of the super heavy rainy season, spring rainy season that is, and so we're starting to get some of that warm sunshine this time of year, but we haven't we haven't entered the painfully hot gonna die stage. Although that said, with the changes in my body composition because of how seriously and how intensely I train Muay Thai kickboxing these days, my body composition has definitely slimmed down, and I've definitely noticed one of the results of that is that I tolerate hot temperatures much better and cold temperatures much more poorly. So I'm kind of stoked about this summer because I feel like this might be the first summer in a long time that I'm actually just super comfortable all summer long. We'll see how that all pans out. But at any rate, it's a gorgeous day. I hope it's even half as nice for you wherever you are, because golly, it's a nice day out. It's a nice day. A heads up, for anyone who's here, and I'll remind people at any point, at multiple points throughout until it happens, but there's a good chance I will have to pause, and there's a good chance I will just distract. Have a bit of a what's the word? A digression. That's the word I'm looking for. It might be a bit of a digression partway through. I am supposed to receive new boxing gloves in the mail today, and I'm super stoked about them. So we might do, if they show up, like I have to stop the stream and grab the package because a signature is required for these. So I will be pausing stream at some point if they show up during stream. But then if they do, we'll do a little unboxing. You can see the beautiful gloves that I just got. They're so pretty. Not that most people care. I mean, I recognize that I might be kind of talking to the wrong audience about like kickboxing stuff here while doing D&D. I know that there is limited crossover going on there, but still, it's a distinct possibility that will happen. And gosh dang it, I'm just so excited about these gloves. I've been excited about these gloves for weeks since I ordered them. So gosh dang it, I'm gonna enjoy them. And it's my stream, so I can do what I want. But until then, I'm gonna go ahead and get us started on some writing. Let me flip us over here and we can dive into it. There we go. There's our beautiful screen. There's our beautiful familiar screen that we all love so much, or at least I do. I love it, and hopefully you at least enjoy it well enough. But I've grown quite fond of this setup that we have here, and it makes me feel comfortable. It feels like a certain degree of home to me because I do this so regularly, and this is just such a comfortable place for me to be, just sitting here working on writing and all that stuff. good place to be. You know what I mean? It's a good place when you find yourself having the opportunity in life to just sort of consistently do something that you love doing. And I consider myself very lucky. I don't know, like I'm very lucky that I get to sit here and just spend a couple hours, a couple times a week just writing. And I am so appreciative and grateful that there's people who enjoy sharing this time with me. I don't know. Usually I save the getting gushy mushy stuff for the end, but I don't know. I'm just feeling appreciative and grateful of my life right now. And golly, you know, with as much negativity as we see in the world these days, it feels like it's a good thing for us to kind of take opportunities to show that gratitude when they show up, when they come about. Um, but I'll digress from that. We'll leave that be. That way I don't make all y'all too uncomfortable with me being all lovey-dovey, mushy-gushy to everyone. And I'm going to have us warm up with our, advanced filters. Do abjuration here. We're going to continue. We're going to do, as always, just a warm up. Working on a few enchantments, imbibements, whatever you want to call it, runes. Is kind of the system here. The ongoing project to create a big old book of magical runes that we could provide to players during a game to make them, or not make them, but to give them the opportunity to customize a weapon rather than just hoping to find a cool weapon. It gives them the chance to actually like customize and build their own weapons. And I know my players really appreciate that because they always have big ideas on what they want their characters to do, and it can sometimes be a challenge to figure out exactly how to do that with the rules as written. But, you know, it doesn't mean it's unbalanced or improper to figure out a way to do it. So that's kind of where this project comes from. And my players like it, so I keep doing it. And also I have a lot of fun with it. So, you know, there we are. I mean, ultimately, if we're not having fun with this, then why do it, right? And as DMs, as a forever DM, it's important to me, and it's important for me to find things that I really enjoy doing and doing those, like making my own fun, because the DM in many ways sacrifices a lot of times their perhaps perfect ideas for the sake of the players, right? And the players get to have the fun winning the game, so to speak. You're, as the DM, you create the challenges that are meant to be beaten, overcome, the enemies that are meant to be killed. So it's not very common that you win a battle. So you have to find enjoyment in other things. And for me, that comes in two forms. One is watching my friends have a good time. I love watching my friends feel happy and excited. The same way that I love watching the people that I coach in kickboxing and stuff like that find success. Like when I see that aha moment, they did something right, you know, or that excitement when they have a first competition or something like that. It feels good. It feels really good. And it's the same with D&D. Watching my friends, watching my players succeed, solve a puzzle, defeat a tough enemy, just generally feel good about what they're doing. That makes me feel good. The other way that I have fun is just being creative. You know, I find a lot of fun and satisfaction to just being creative and inventing things, whether they end up landing or not. It's fun to try and create things. And that's kind of where this project is born from, too. Just me trying to create something and having fun with it. I keep having fun with it, so I keep doing it. So I'm going to have us do that. I think it looked like the last one we did was Dispel. Right, we did Dispel Evil and Good. But we had the discussion about how saying evil and good rather than good and evil just sounds weird. So we renamed it Dispel Good and Evil because, duh. But because we did that one, our next one is going to be Freedom of the Winds. Oh, this is unofficial material. I wonder it sounds unfamiliar to me. Oh, that's why, because it's Critical Role content. It's Critical Role content. Okay, I'm going to pass over it, actually. I'm going to pass over it. Just because the original goal was to... Like, I have great respect and great love and admiration for Critical Role, and I love their stuff, and if a player came to me and wanted to do something with that, I would allow it. But for the sake of this project, because it's meant to be the spell book as written, right, the rules as written spell book, I'm going to pass over it, just for the sake of keeping it as, like, official content. Something about just, like, doing a homebrew of a homebrew feels just like one step too far, right? That feels just a little bit too much transitive property for me to be thrilled and excited about it. So I'm gonna pass over that one, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to Greater Restoration, which I think is also going to be a fun one. I like the idea of this immediately. My idea is the washcloth of Greater Restoration, and you just use that to clean, like it's a washcloth, and like when you wipe down whatever it is, it cleans it and restores it. But we'll get there. All right, we're going to copy that stuff so we can enter it into our format here. Greater Restoration, and then we want to put down stuff in here so we can easy. Oops. Oh, I did the hotkey for copy, so we just got to recopy that, and then we can come over here. Now we can paste it, and there we go. Sometimes my fingers move faster than my brain, and well, we just end up in awkward places. So, but that's okay. We just make the fixes, the repairs as need be, and off we go. How does Bob Ross put it? Happy little accidents. I don't know. Not really the same thing because it's not like I keep it and turn it into something. More that I just fix it up and move on with my life anyway. But hey, you know what? There's value in being able to do that too. We all have to be able to just fix something and move on with life sometimes. There's still lessons. There's still lessons to be learned from everything. Everything is a lesson. All things come down to morals. I'm a motivational speaker now. Sorry, that was a digression. Hold on one second. Guess I just need to be attentive to like my phone and everything today, just because I know that a package is coming and I know I need to go down and sign for it this time, because they didn't give me the option to not sign for it, because the seller, they're my new boxing gloves, and the seller insists upon it when they're particularly nice boxing gloves like these are. So like I say, if it shows up while we're doing stream, we'll do an impromptu unboxing. You can see me geek out about something that most of you won't care about, but dang it, it gets me excited. I'm so excited about it. Anyway, Greater Restoration. You imbue a creature you touch with positive energy to undo debilitating effect. Can reduce... okay, so first we need to say you touch with the item, right? Because we're talking about enchanting an item here. So you imbue a creature you touch with the item with... yeah, because it was going to be with positive energy. So it's you imbue a creature you touch with the item with positive energy to undo a debilitating effect. You can reduce the target's exhaustion by level by 1, or end one of the following effects on the target. One effect that charmed or petrified the target. One curse included in the target's attunement to a cursed magic item. Ooh, that's an interesting one. This would be an interesting item for someone to do, to create, in terms of being able to create other magical items that may potentially become cursed or whatever, right? So it's like, I don't know, I like this idea. I immediately like this idea of like an item of counter cursing. But at any rate, any reduction to one of the target's ability scores, and one effect reducing the target's hit point maximum. I think that's, honestly, I think that's that's all we need to do. We just make sure that it's a creature you touch with the item, not a creature that you touch personally, right? Because we're imbuing an item. And then, yeah, that's a really simple one. It's a really simple one. Touch-based ones are really simple to do, because instead of just like, touching the person casting the spell, touching the person, instead you just put that magic, you imbue that magic or enchant it or whatever you want to say onto the item, and now you touch them with the item. So it's basically you just create a layer of item between your hand what causes the action, and instead it's that item that causes the action. So they tend to be really easy to translate into runes. But really, I should talk about how difficult it is, so that way I just look like I'm really good at coming up with ideas. No, I wouldn't do that. That would be super arrogant. I mean, I might, but I wouldn't do that to you guys. I would do that to people I didn't like. At any rate, just anything here. Casting, it's one action, instantaneous. Touch, yeah, it has to be direct touch, and it has a healing effect. So, most of the stuff, how it's cast... once per day when the item is used to touch a target and the command word is spoken. I always do the command word. just to make sure that there's no confusion, especially when it's a touch-based item. Because then it's like, does it just immediate, like, suppose it's something you wear, and if there's no command word, if it's just like, yeah, the first time you use it, well, if it's touch-based, what signifies, just like if it's a glove that's meant to have a power, right? If you got your Infinity Gauntlet going on here, are you just like constantly having the population every 24 hours, or is there a trigger, right? Like the snap. So I always do the command word, and it can be whatever command. If the person wants to do a Naruto or Naruto, however you pronounce it, I've never watched the show, and I've heard it pronounced both ways. I don't know that guy. You do the little hand things that he does. I don't know, what is it? Something like, No, I just sound so ignorant right now. But it's like if they wanted to do that, that's fine. If they wanted to Kamehameha, they could do that. If they wanted to do a little dance, they could do that, make a little love, get down with it. I don't know. Depends on the item, whether or not that's appropriate. Well, it's never appropriate to do it in a group setting, so I probably wouldn't allow that in my game. But you understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm getting at here. Range, contact, duration. That's irrelevant. We can get rid of that. And what I am going to do is I'm just going to say... I goofed it. There we go. And we'll just say healing for that one. No saves or anything. That's easy. The type of item it can enchant. It really can be anything that can be used to touch the intended target. I mean, you can really do it if you wanted to do the hammer of the restoring hammer, and you just like, I mean, it'd be kind of like the you could use it as like, a cursed version of the horny hammer, right? Where you just bonk them on the head with a hammer, and suddenly they're not charmed anymore. It's actually kind of perfect, right? If someone's charmed by someone else, you can basically just send them to horny jail and just bonk them on the head with a club of D whatever you want to call it. Delustifying energy. But so anything that can be used to touch the intended target is fine for that. The example item, I like the okay, here's my idea. Restorative cold compress. And what I want to do is, the item was first conceived by a magical healer who also had young children, looking for ways to further help the children during bouts of illness. She combined two of her most powerful healing abilities, greater restoration, and a cold compress to help a fever. Now it is a commonly requested item by healers, as it both helps the magical ailment as well as making the subject feel better. Feel better physically and emotionally. That's what I wanted to say. Right? It's like I don't know. There's and maybe this is just my upbringing. But my mom would always give me a cold compress because I was a kid and I grew up with issues with migraines. I really lucked out, and because some people it gets worse with age, but I lucked out and my migraines kind of have dissipated with age. I still get headaches from time to time, but nowhere near the migraines I used to get as a kid. I remember there were times when I would have to just lay down in a dark room and just sleep, all day, all night, sometimes up to 24 hours, until it just went away because Tylenol wouldn't help. Stuff wouldn't help, and it was often triggered by moving pressure patterns with weather. So there would be this thing where it's it's funny too, because it happens oftentimes the opposite for me. Because a lot of people would think oh, a storm's coming in, and the pressure of the storm is causing a headache, right? That's the literary version of it, right? There's always that one person, oh, I feel the ache in my bones, oh, my head hurts, the storms are coming, because it's good for foreshadowing. For me, it was the opposite usually. Usually when pressure systems finished, right, when a storm moved on and suddenly it was going to be bright and sunny, that dramatic shift from the storm pressure system to the not storm pressure would cause a migraine for me. At any rate, long story is, well, it's still long. I pretty much told the whole story, so it was a long story. But the long story to say that my mom would always, when it got to that point, she would give me a cold compress. So it might just be me who feels emotionally connected to the concept of just like a cold damp towel on the forehead when you're sick. But that's immediately what I think of for a restorative item. And so I don't know, I like it. It makes me feel, it gives me the warm fuzzies to think about that item. So hey, Howell, how's it going? It's good to see you. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I don't think we have any additional notes for this. I think that one's as good as it is. I almost never have the additional notes. I would just put that there to remind myself to just like take half a second and think about if there's anything else that's relevant. And I feel like some of the more complex spells have potential for it. But yeah, at any rate, that's the basic one. So now let's talk about if this item is sentient. And immediately my thought is, how do we, if this item is sentient, right? A healing item is sentient. My thought is it's immediately going to be a doting, caring mother in personality. And so my thought is immediately that, you know, if it's good, it's going to be very doting, almost to the point of being cloying, right, to the wearer, or to the user, or to the target, I should say, is really the more accurate one. And then if it's evil, it's just going to be so mad at whoever hurt her baby. Like, that's what my thought is immediately for that. So we'll analyze that. That's a long sword that turns into it. You mean that immediately makes me think of, I know that's been used in a lot of situations. I've not, first off, to answer the question, I've never done that. But I know it's a concept, and I have known other people who have been interested in trying to do that. It gets tricky to find a way to balance that. I would probably just use the whip version of it as an improvised situation, kind of like if you use an improvised weapon on a spear that's meant to be held, but you can also throw it. But at any rate, like, I would improvise it and give you like a 10-foot range with it or something like that. But that immediately makes me think of I'm gonna forget the character's name. The one badass woman in Soul Calibur, back when those games were what was in. God, I loved Soul Calibur. I'm forgetting her name. Getting the name of which character it was, but she had one of those swords. She had like a total dominatrix vibe. She was a complete badass. She owned the screen when she was on there. She was fabulous. But yeah, I don't remember what her name is. But yeah, I know the type of weapon you're talking about. I've not come across that or used that in D&D, but I've heard of weapons like that kind of being built and created. I would certainly be open to letting / helping a player create a weapon like that. Like I say, because as long as you have a balanced improvised, system for it, I think it would be a really cool aesthetic, and it would be really fun for a player to be able to do that. But at any rate, okay, so if it's sentient, if it's good, it does something a little extra. So effect reducing so my immediate thought with this good, I think this is going to be really easy. Does something extra for the target. Is very doting and magically gives the target the warm fuzzies. Target also receives I think what I want to do with this, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and it's like I don't want something to necessarily be more or less powerful, because of just like me not really thinking about what if it's like at a higher level or what level our player is going to be, right? Because like if you enchant something at level 1 and you say you get 5 HP back, you're like, oh, damn, that's so much HP. But then as soon as you get up to level 6 or 7, it's kind of like, I mean, it's something. And so I've been thinking a lot about, like, trying to do more so, like, X% of their maximum hit points or something like that. Or the alternative, like, you could kind of do the dice so that there's a wider range, but even that thing, it's like 1d6 early is different than 1d6 later in a game. So, I think what I'm going to do is target also receives, we're going to say, trying to think about a good one. We can say something along the lines of like 5% of their maximum HP back, right? Because like 5% is always going to be substantial, but it'll be substantial. It'll always be relative to the target level. And actually, you know what I'm going to do, because it's meant to be something small, I'm just going to say 2%, the maximum HP, right? So that's like you get 2 back if your max HP is 10, but you get 20 back if your max HP is 100. Wait, no. That would be if it were 20%. Okay, yeah, no, we can keep it with 5%. 5%, because 5% of 10 is only half an HP, so you get 1 HP. And then 5% of 100 is 5 HP back. That's very little, actually. Yeah, we'll leave it there. So it's just a little extra perk. I think that's fine. Drake Warden Ranger. Those ever get any better? So bows are tricky in that they work best if you combine them with a character who's built around bow use, if that makes sense. So like doing a hunter, they can be really good with bows, but you kind of have to build them and use, you have to be willing to sacrifice a certain number of attacks, a certain number of actions, I should say, towards building yourself up. So like a hunter, when you can have things like Hunter's Mark, and or Fairy Fire going on that can give you advantage and additional bonuses and buffs and stuff like that. With a hunter, if you're focusing on knowing what your favorite targets are, right? If you're willing to sacrifice ability improvements to get feats, there's some feats that can really play nice with bows. So bows themselves, they don't improve and get massively more powerful the same way that a melee character utilizing a great sword or a warhammer might. But I have certainly seen characters built to use bows very successfully and very effectively. So they can be. You just have to think about the bow as being something that's better improved upon by things other than just leveling up and hoping for extra ranged attacks and stuff like that. The other thing too that I'll do with players is if I have someone who really wants to specialize in ranged combat and bows, I will work with them, and this is something that you'd have to talk with your D&D or your DM about. But I will oftentimes work with them and give them the opportunity to like either construct better bows or find and purchase better bows. So I'll kind of do that so they can kind of get additional benefits that way. So they can be, but they take it. I kind of see them as being a different version of magic users, just in that they take more attention and more purposeful improvements in building blocks than just a barbarian who just sort of naturally hits harder as you go, right? They take a bit more focused building, but you can. Idea will be drow is cursed to turn into a blue tiefling. Anything which transform. So you use a black bow, a black archer. There's but the drow come within 60 feet of the bow. Become frequent and angry. Okay, all right, yeah. So like again, flavoring the bow can make it interesting. Hearing that's an interesting background story, and I mean honestly for that I would be on board with it just in general, just for the cool backstory idea. But yeah, I mean stuff like that it sounds like the DM has kind of got the same idea with bows, where it's like it's almost more like the flavor around the bow is what makes it more powerful rather than the bow itself. But yeah, just take a look at you know, you can go online and find different ways that people have optimized a bow-based character. And when you level up, pay attention to all of the, you know, take the time to read through all the different feats and stuff and find ways to build up a character that's really going to end up being, you know, a skilled archer, right? Because you're looking for the real Legolas treatment, you know, when you want that. And so you want to be able to fire off multiple arrows or be able to get advantages and bonus damages when you're attacking with arrows. You know, you can work with the DM to see if you can get special types of arrows, like, you know, if they're dipped in poison or something like that, to add extra effects. So there are plenty of ways to do it. It just is definitely more attention requiring than a passive melee character that just sort of accidentally gets better at it. But they certainly can. And I mean, that follows the same thing that I'll always say. Any character can be good in D&D without even having to min-max, as long as you build them with intention, right? Don't just willy-nilly do stuff, but as long as you have intention and read through the options, you can really make any character functional. Additionally, any character can be functional if you have a good DM who pays attention to what the group is sort of building themselves up to do, so that way the DM can provide challenges that are still challenging, but, you know, can be overcome. Because, you know, or flip side, you know, it can be fun and interesting if the DM knows what you guys are going to be weak against and occasionally gives you that challenge, so you have to deal with that. Because there are just so many factors that go into it. I think it's disingenuous for anyone to say, like, oh, this type of character is never good, or this type of character is bad. I mean, you can certainly go with you can go out of your way to do the opposite of min-maxing and find the worst possible build, and they wouldn't be super functional. It's certainly possible to do that. But it can be possible to build any type of character up to be a fun, enjoyable, effective one to play. You gotta be intentional and know what you're going for when you build them. But yeah, good luck with that. Hopefully it ends up being a fun character. It sounds like an interesting concept. I like the idea of it. But let's see here. Okay, so back to the item we're working on here. Greater Restoration. Okay, yeah, right. So if it's good, magically gives the target the warm fuzzies. Target also receives 5% of their maximum HP. Evil is very mad at whoever or whatever hurt her baby. Uses mama bear energy. Uses mama bear energy. Let's do mama bear energy to instill nerves. Let me see. I gotta figure out how to do this. We're definitely gonna say that it uses mama bear energy because that's what we're talking about here. I was gonna say to do like disadvantage or turn the effect around, but it can also just like reduce one target's ability score, or, you know, any reduction to the target's ability scores, right? In fact, reducing target's hit point maximum. Like, these are things that don't necessarily, like, it's not necessarily that you're just removing the charmed or petrified or whatever. So I guess what I'm thinking is energy to we'll just say give the target advantage on their next attack, right? So it's like that kind of is still helping the target, helping the user of the item, but that also definitely gives the target of their next attack a disadvantage. So I think that still kind of is in line with the evil. And plus, I just like the idea of it being like the item being like, oh, I can't believe they do that, baby. I got you back, baby. You go do your thing. Mama's here for you. And it's just like the item just like supports them as a sentient healing item. I like it. Don't want to start with a bow that adds +3/+3 to hit and damage starting out. Is that to say you're looking for something more effective or something less effective? Because if you're looking for something less effective, then it'd be very easy to I feel like you'd have an easy time convincing your DM to nerf the power. If you're looking for something more effective, then, you know, work with the DM. My guess is like you're saying you don't want it to be too OP right from the get-go, because we're already talking about like a magical item or something like that. I don't know. I guess I need more information on how I would, you know, advise on that one. Less because Black Bow, a lot to lore by adds +3 660 feet of dark vision. Yeah, so what you could do is you could talk to the DM. My immediate thought is make it so that as you become more in tune with this bow that has all of this lore, it sort of like gains more abilities as time goes on, right? And so it's like, let me pull their own. Yeah. I totally respect that. I totally respect that 100%. And I actually tend to agree that right from the get-go, that's a lot. And the thing that's also disappointing about that is if there's nothing to improve upon, right? Because if you start off too powerful, then you're just kind of already there and there's no room to grow. Half the fun of having a character is watching them grow and improve. I have to talk to my players about that a lot, because if they start a new character, they get really excited about where they want the character to end up. And so they keep trying to add more and more stuff. And I'm like, guys, seriously, start with just the basic stuff. We're starting level 1, start with the basic stuff. And we can build you up to have all that extra stuff. Just recognize it's like the effect of if you're playing a video game and you put in too many cheat codes and suddenly the game isn't fun anymore because there's no challenge. So I totally respect that. And my initial thought would be like if I were in the DM's position, and so you can present this idea to your DM and see what they think about it. My thought is that as you go along, right, because we're talking about lost memories and we're talking about weird shady pasts and stuff like that, as the campaign goes on, perhaps your character slowly does learn a bit more about the past, and as you learn more about the past, that sort of like you remember how to use different powers and effects of this bow, right? It like you get better at using it, so you get a +1 at some point or a +2 at some point beyond that, right? Or like the dark vision range grows and grows over time, or like, you know, you get the +3 at this high level and you get the full dark vision at this high level. That's what I would say, is I would just lock those improvements behind improvements, right? Like not improvements behind improvements. Lock those improvements behind level ups, and just level ups and or landmarks if you want it to feel a bit more organic, right? Anytime your character accomplishes this, that, or the other type of thing that's like a character-based role-playing thing. That's what my immediate recommendation would be. Voices get louder and louder. Yeah, it's the same concept. It's the same concept. Just like, you know, you can kind of with your DM sort of figure out what like the different tiers would be with each level, and so it's like with each level up, these things improve. And what could be fun with that is even though that kind of takes some of the mystery away from you, it builds a lot of mystery and a lot of fun stuff for the other players. So you're turning this into a system, an item that could be really fun for your players to sort of witness and see happening, and it kind of gives you the chance to really play upon some role-playing aspects. So I think there's a lot of potential. I think there's a whole lot of potential. I think you just got to work with the DM and figure out what's going to be right for the setting, what's going to be right for the group, and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's just the baseline idea. I think is really cool, and so I think you guys are onto something pretty neat. Let's see. Okay, so if it's lawful, it's always that it narrows the focus, but it's a bit more potent. And so my thought is, let's see here. Everyone think psychosis. Yeah, exactly. Right, have it be unclear to the players. Like I say, it turns into a really cool role-playing moment with your fellow players, which I think is super fun. I talk to my players about that a lot too. It's like, remember, you're not just entertaining yourself, nor are you trying to find the right answers for me. You're entertaining your friends. Like, this is the modern version of cavemen sitting around a campfire and telling stories to each other, right, is what we're doing. So it's like, use your character as a way not just to build your own glory, but to entertain your fellow players, right? Just help your friends have a good time. And I think that character with those ideas could really, really work out, could really, really pull forth that type of energy, and really help build that type of atmosphere at the table. So if it's lawful, if this item is lawful, narrow the focus, make it more powerful, is always the idea. Reduction to one target's ability scores. My thought is almost that we can make it so that it can do like it'll make them if it's used, so narrowing the focus, yeah, so what we can do is the item fixates on whatever the most potent ailment was that needed healing. We'll say if multiple forms of healing are relevant, the item picks one, we'll say by DM or at random, whatever the table wants to do. Picks one itself, but makes the target immune to that same effect for the rest of the day, right? So it's like if it cures you of petrification, you're now not just are you cured of petrification, you're also immune to petrification. Or if it's, I like the idea too, if the effect reduces your maximum hit points, you are now immune to having your maximum hit points reduced. But it can pick the effect. So if your hit points are reduced and you're charmed, it's gonna choose one, and you can either have it be the DM sort of role playing what the item thinks is the most severe one, or you can just randomly roll whatever the table feels like is more appropriate or more interesting. Really, you can just go with what sounds more fun. I think we can do that, and I think that's going to be a perfectly good item. I like that. Now, if it's chaotic, again, it's broadens the effect, but reduces the potency. So what my thought is here is the item is desperate to help everyone. Can be used. So what we're gonna say is, how do I want to do this? So because my first thought was rather than one target, right? It can do, like, you could choose up to 5 potential targets, and it picks 2 of them at random because it's not powerful to do all of them. But that, I don't know, that seems easy to break because that seems like it could just turn into 2 freebies. So what my thought is actually is, can give a burst of extra restorative energy when used, impacting any other targets within 5 feet of the original target. However, we'll say this secondary wave of restoration has the effect chosen at random. So that could potentially be very powerful, but it could also potentially be completely meaningless, right? If it's a petrification and you use that and no one else is nearby, or no one else who's nearby is petrified, then it's like, all right, well, it didn't do anything, but it still does the original thing that was, set out to be done. So I think that works okay. A little all or nothing on there, which I think is fine. It's like the risk that it doesn't do anything special at all as a sentient item. Like, if it has that risk, then I feel like the reward can be a little bit more like, it could also potentially, uncharm up to 8 other creatures within 5 feet, right? If that were ever a situation, which I would hope would never be a situation. But hey, people get themselves into wacky situations in D&D, which is the absolute beauty of it. But at any rate, yeah, I like that. I think that's good. I think that's really good. All right, and now let's go ahead and do if the item's cursed, which I always think is super fun. I always think the idea of, I like cursed items. The idea of an item, but like for me, again, I design my cursed items. I don't like a cursed item where it's just like, oh yeah, you bought this locket, and now suddenly your HP is at half forever and ever until you go to a magic healer to do it. It's like, that's just kind of lame and a bit of a cop-out. I guess I shouldn't say that. There's a time and place for those types of cursed items. I guess what I'm trying to say is, for this system, because it's meant to be sort of a crafting system for players to be able to do their, create their own magical items and all that kind of stuff. It's more fun for it to be something that they might be enticed to still use, right? So it's like they made this item, and even after they know that it's cursed, they might still be like, yeah, but it also does this extra really cool thing. So maybe I'll just be careful about when I use it. And you can do that kind of stuff. So my thought on the extra powerful benefit is, we'll say the item can heal up to 3 different ailments from the list while being used. And I feel like what I want to do for the problematic side effect is the item has to absorb and dissipate the negative energies in order to restore. When used, the user must make a Constitution saving throw, and we'll make that a DC 15, or else they become the recipient. Let's see here. Oops. Not buying fame. That's fake fame. I'm not interested. Other people like me for who I actually am, not who I purchase people to say I am. Maybe that's just me. Okay, so when used, the user must make a Constitution saving throw, 15, or else they become the recipient of one of the healed effects. And we'll just say if more than one is healed, the one that affects user is selected random. Boom, easy as that. I like that idea. So it's like, yeah, they might be willing to do it, but it's like if you're using it for petrification, it's like, you might just transfer it, and then you're in real trouble because now you've used up the item. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think that could be an interesting one, because it also depends on how willing the user is to try and protect themselves versus protecting other people. I think that's good. What it takes to remove must be removed magically if the owner tries to abandon the cursed item. Let's see, how does this one end up being a problem? Because the one thing is, like, if you try to get rid of a cursed item, I always, maybe I should put this down as like a written rule, but I always figure it's like you have to make some save to be able to overcome whatever willpower the cursed item has, if you want to just like straight up get rid of it. And if you fail, there's some sort of negative effect. And I always like to have the negative effect be somehow thematically related to whatever the power of it is. In this case, if it's healing, tries to abandon the cursed item, we'll just say it will begin draining health at a rate of 1% maximum HP. We'll say every minute. Every minute that it isn't on the person of whoever it is tuned to. So, yeah, so it's like if you try to ditch it, you can, but it will like use the magical abilities to just do some life drain Oh, excuse me. I apologize. Do some life drain effects on you. And it's like you can either go back and get it or eventually die. Kind of like that. I think that's an interesting one. I think that's a really good one. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's a good item. I think that's a good item as we have it there. So, cool. Cool, cool. All right, I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I want to do at least one more of these. I always like to do 2 of them as part of the warm-up, no matter how long it takes. And this one didn't even take long because we started late. But I do need to run to the bathroom and refill my beverage. So I'm going to go do those things right now. And when I get back, we'll keep going. So I appreciate the patience. Sit tight, and I will be back very, very shortly. All right. Back we are. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it, as always. All right, let's do another imbibement here, another rune. Having fun with these, always have fun. Like, that's just a redundant statement at this point in time. I'm always having fun with these. I love doing these. They're fun, interesting. It's a fun, interesting project, and I really like it. Really gets my creative brain going, and that's always a good fun thing as far as I'm concerned. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and get. We just did greater restoration. Oh, we got, and that's perfect. We only have one more on our 5th level abjuration spells, so we're making some good progress. Let's go ahead and do it. Planar binding. Ooh, this is gonna have some do. Good. I like it. Like that. Copy that up. Go over here. Wait, what was it? Planar binding. Planar binding. Right here. Paste all that stuff in there. Let's get excess stuff that we don't need. I do actually, when I think about it, I don't utilize it for this project. But I actually do kind of appreciate the fact that OneNote will try to automatically cite sources. Because when you think about OneNote as being like a classroom tool, right, or a workplace tool, where you can use it to literally take notes, the fact that it would like also put the source there, so that way if you're copying and pasting things, you know where you found it, is actually a really cool concept. I really like that they do it, even though I kind of don't utilize it because I'm a I don't know. I guess that makes me a bit of a thief, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem necessary or functional to like mention that I copied all this stuff from D&D Beyond, because it's not even the original source of it. You know what I mean? Like, I copied the text from there, but it's not like I'm quoting from D&D Beyond. It's from Wizards of the Coast. And I think the other thing about it too is that we're talking about D&D 5e. I think most people are seeing it as pretty obvious where all of the info came from. At any rate, with this spell, you attempt to bind a celestial, an elemental, a fae, or a fiend to your service. The creature must be within range for the entire casting of the spell. Typically, the creature is first summoned into the center of an inverted magical circle in order to keep it trapped while the spell is cast. At the completion of the casting, the target must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, it is bound to serve you for the duration. If the creature was summoned or created by another spell, that spell's duration is extended to match the duration of this spell. Interesting. Okay. We'll say with, first off, I want to say with an item imbued with this spell. So my thought is immediately is you can almost, like, my thought is basically that it would be an item that you can put onto the target, right? Like a hat or a bracelet or something that you can then hook onto that person, and then for the duration of the spell, it stays attached to them, like they can't remove it, and that's what binds them. So my thought is, a bound creature must follow your instructions to the best of its ability. You might command the creature to accompany you on an adventure, to guard a location, or to deliver a message. The creature obeys the letter of your instructions, but if the creature is hostile to you, it strives to twist your words to achieve its own objectives. The creature carries out your instructions completely before the spell ends, travels to you to report this fact if you are on the same plane of existence. Yep. Okay. If you are on a different plane of existence, it returns to the place where you bound it and remains there until the spell ends. Okay, alright. It's kind of a Meeseeks box. Or rather, a Meeseeks box is kind of this. At any rate. Cast the spell using a spell. We'll say as a spell. As a spell of higher level, the duration increases 10 days with a 6th level slot. Say it's 10 days with 6th level. 30 days with 7th level. To 100 days with 180 days with an 8th level. Yeah, and then in a year and a day with 9th level. 9th level spell. Boom. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, and I think this one. So I'm gonna say here, type of item that can enchant. So this one is definitely going to be must be imbued upon an item, can be worn, so that said item can be placed on the target. And so for me, the example item here is immediately going to be, there's actually some kind of dark implications behind this, but the spell, whether it's the spell or the item, it's there. We're going to say, we're going to call these binding manacles. We're going to say, first incepted by a bounty hunter who wanted a way to more easily control targets as he transported them to whatever authority was offering the bounty. Do it like that. Others have requested similar items as well, such as go ahead and add say hats, jackets, socks, etc. Just a variety of things. It makes the most sense. But yeah, I think that makes a whole lot of sense. Like a, like a police station or something like that, wanting these manacles of compliance or whatever. But yeah, like the idea. So like, because it would make a lot of sense too, because we're talking about an ethereal being, right? A being that's not from the material or mortal realm, whatever you want to call it. So it's like, would there be bounties? It's like, absolutely. If there was a troublemaker, there was a troublemaking fairy in town, you better believe people would be calling for the capture of that thing. And so if there was a bounty hunter that had like these manacles or whatever, be a lot easier for them to bring people in. Because you can instruct them exactly what to do. It's like, go turn yourself in at this place or go disappear or whatever. And it could do that. Like, he can make them do that so that he can get his bounty, and then whatever help happens to them afterwards is just really not his concern. So yeah, I like that. How it's cast. Item is placed on the target, and the command word is spoken. That one's easy. There. All right, range. Contact. Gotta be in contact. Duration. We'll just do the baseline duration, even though they have those extended ones. What is it, like a at level 1? Yeah, duration 24 hours. Oh, excuse me. Actually need to change. I need to remember to like keep what the thing it is there, because if I just have contact, it's like, what do I mean? Like, you can kind of figure that you need to make contact, but duration 24 hours. We'll do baseline or more, depending on if you enchant it at those higher levels. I don't think there is a save, right? It described that there's no save. Oh no, yeah, the target must make a charisma saving throw. So save here we'll do, and then we'll say the save is charisma DC, and like I say, I always set it to the DC for these types of things. I always set it to 10 plus the initial 10 plus the spell level, right? So it's like, if you did it at a higher level, I would probably make it even harder for them to escape as well, because of, as always, the resources and everything it would take to imbue such an item would make it more powerful and more difficult to break free from. But the baseline is always 10 plus the spell level. So that way things are leveling up and we have it, because normally these spells would all be based on the caster's spell modifier or whatever, but that's not relevant with an item, because someone who's not a caster might still be able to use it, or at least that's my decree. I know some rule systems, and in fact I think rules as written, have more particular ideas about that, but I'm always like, what's the point of a magical item if only the wizard can use it, other than them not having to use a spell slot when they use it? It's like, the point of a magic item is that item is now what's channeling the magic rather than the person, so anyone can use the item to do. But that's just my take. So, grain of salt. Depends on what works for you and your world and your game and all that kind of stuff. Damage / buff, I don't think we need. Not really a mechanical. Negative buff. What would be the opposite of buff be? Like it's a scrawn, right? Because buff means big and strong, and scrawny means super not strong. So there's a buff, and it's a scrawn. That's, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I apologize. Anyways, moving on. Let's see here. So now if the item is sentient, and again, that's just always the fun stuff there. So if it's good, again, as always, wanting to do something beneficial for the user of the item there. And oh yeah, that could be it. A buff and enfeeblement. That's good. That's a pretty good one. That's a good actual word for it. I like that. I like that. Good call. Good call. See, this is why it's good to crowdsource things, because everyone else in the world is way better with words than me. I don't do words good. All right, if it's a sentient thing and if it's good, something extra for the user. So if it's the binding, send it to match the duration of the spell. Follow your instructions to the best of your ability. You might command the creature to accompany you on an adventure. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Good. The item is very litigious. It will warn the user if they've accidentally worded their commands in a way that allows for a loophole, so that the user can quickly clarify and ensure the target follows the instructions properly. Boom. Sounds lawful. Yeah, so the way I do it, it's less about the personality, because the personality is always that when I'm making something that's sentient, the personality is always that it wants to help the person. So lawful, even though I'm using the word litigious, lawful means it does something good for the user, and if it's evil, it does something like good. Good means it wants to do something better for the user. If it's evil, it wants to do something negative towards the target or towards the enemy. If it's lawful, it's that it narrows the focus, but makes it a bit more powerful. And if it's chaotic, it broadens the focus, but makes it a little less powerful. So it doesn't always necessarily translate to the ways we think about, good, evil, lawful, and chaotic. But it's a way to keep things sort of consistent and make sure, like I say, that the big thing is to make sure that because I want the item, because this is a crafting system, right, that I use for my players. And so if they're going to go through the trouble of creating something, there's a very small chance that it becomes sentient. And so if that happens, I want it to be always on the side, because the obvious thing for like evil or chaotic is that it would be disruptive to the user. But that's also what, if they accidentally make it cursed, would do. So I kind of have the cursed be like, it could potentially be negative towards the user, whereas if it's sentient, it's always good towards the user. It's just the personality will have it do, it'll have it do something, based on the personality, it'll change how it does something good for the user, right? So if in this one, the reason I'm considering it good is because it's trying to help the person be all like, no, you worded that properly. It's gonna, this thing can totally try and do it this way. And I figure that works out really well, because they're going to want to use this item against a target that me as the DM is going to be using. So if I immediately think of a loophole, I can be all like, shoot, but he's got this good item that's going to tell him how they accidentally, messed up the wording. So it kind of works out. Hey, El Blabo, good to see you. So that's where the thoughts are coming from. But like, you're right. There is a certain lawful aspect to it. But I'm just kind of trying to follow the consistencies that I've set to help make sure that there is some form of consistency. Good in a meta way, kind of. In this situation, it does kind of end up being meta, just because I'm the one that's role-playing. But the idea is that it wouldn't necessarily have to be meta, because, an item that's just very good with law could definitely... it could definitely just be all like, hey, the way you worded this is weird, and that could totally be an in-game thing, too. So it doesn't have to be good in a meta way, it just kind of ends up being that way for this one. because I can use a bit of meta understanding to provide the benefit in this situation. Gotta be in a game and DM one. Nice. Nice. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I highly recommend both roles. So I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear you got some exciting stuff coming up. Alright, so like if it's evil, oh, I'm assuming it means if he's gonna be in a game that as a player, and then DMing is going to be leading a game, because that's just the general verbiage of it. But I guess I don't know. Yeah, different games. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so if it's evil, again, it does something extra negative in this case towards the target, but towards the enemy of the of whoever's using it. So like in this situation, so this one can get kind of tricky. An item imbued with a spell, you attempt to bind a celestial, an elemental, a fae, or a fiend to your service. Creature must be within range for the entire casting of the spell. Completion of casting, the target must make a charisma saving throw. Okay, here's what my thought is. Because it's an item that you put on to the target, my thought is the item is more than happy to babysit the target. If the target tries to go against the spirit of the instructions given to it, the item gives the target a little zap, doing we'll say doing 5 damage to the to it. We'll just say. Some D&D X Games challenge. If only. Furbolg, but don't know what class. I think Paladin. I feel like a Furbolg Paladin would be good. In general, like as far as just roleplay goes, I think that fits really well. Furbolgs are fun. They're such like I don't know. I just think of them as being like the Winnie the Poohs of D&D. Is just how I view them. It's very chill, very friendly. Furbolgs. I like Furbolgs. I've never played one, but just like as a class, I have a certain affection for them. I think it's a good choice. So now if it's lawful, so the lawful way to do it is that it narrows the focus, but is a bit more powerful in some way, shape, or form. Is usually how I like to do it. So I'm wondering, follow the instructions to the best of its ability. Command the creature to accompany you on an adventure, to go to location, deliver a message. The creature obeys the letter of your instructions. If the creature is hostile to you, it strives to twist your words to achieve its own objectives. Heck yeah, I hit the gym. I will always support that. As someone who hits the gym multiple times pretty much every day, I'm a huge proponent of that. So go get your work on. Hell yeah. Let's see. A creature obeys the letter of instructions, but the creature is hostile to you. Strives to twist your words to achieve its own objectives. Creature carries out your instructions completely before the spell ends. It tells to you to report this fact. You're on the same plane of existence. But you're on a different plane of existence. It returns to the place where you bound it and remains there until the spell ends. Okay. Nice. Get those gains. Hell yeah, brother. Go get those gains. Faux show. I have no idea what I can squat or what I can deadlift or bench press. I don't do much weightlifting because all my stuff is focused towards kickboxing. But hey, that's awesome, man. That's real awesome. I want to try and do something so like with the effect here, with a lawful effect. I kind of want to. Like I'm thinking. So like we narrow the focus, make it more powerful. So what I'm thinking is, I'm wondering if we can like have it be for a shorter duration, but it can't leave early just because it like completes the thing and reports it to you. You know what I mean? Like that's what my thought is. Hold on, what was the duration of this? 24 hours. So I'm gonna say the duration. It will say the item ensures, we'll just say, we'll just go ahead and put it this way. The duration of the spell is only half as long. However, the target cannot be freed early by completing assigned tasks or finding any loophole. Right, so it's just like there's no way for it to end, because the way the spell is written, the target can kind of end it early. So if it's lawful, it only lasts half as long, but it can't go early, right? It has to, it carries it out and it has to return to you, and then you can give it more instructions, essentially. It can't just disappear early. So it's like, it's almost like it'll be a deterrent for the thing to be a little butthole and try to twist your words around, because no matter what, it has to carry out its sentence, so to speak. And so then chaotic, I always like to do for these ones, it's a broader effect, but a little less powerful, right? So it's just like the energy about the item is a bit more chaotic. So I'm thinking, wondering if there's a way to make it so that, I think about how to, just because my thought is that it also like has an aura of, you know, commanding energy about it. Is what my thought is. It kind of has this aura of power, and so like any nearby creatures are also like compelled to help. Okay, yeah, so here's what I want to say. The duration of the spell is only half as long. So it's like that's going to be the same limitation here. The duration of the spell is only half as long, but it creates an aura of compulsion, such that any other creatures within we'll say 5 feet of the target must also save, or else try to carry out the same instruction. It's a really broad and general thing there, but I think that could be really fun, and I think it could be really interesting. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it, understanding that it may need to be refined during any specific use. Like anytime I use it in a game, I may need to refine it and change it up a little bit. But as a baseline, I like it. I think that's fun. Because I think it would be really funny if you command one thing to like shine your shoes, and suddenly like 5 of those things are like all fighting over each other to try and shine your shoes, like who can do it best or whatever. Is kind of what my thought is there. So I do kind of like that. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. So now we got to do if it's cursed. So here's what my thought is with cursed. The binding is permanent once the item is placed on a creature. So it's just like there's no limit, there's no time limit. It's just like the duration. It's there forever. Problematic side effect is, I think it's just that the only way to remove a creature from the item, or to have the creature freed from your service, is to kill it. Like, that's what you got to do. That's the only way to do it. Is kind of what my thought is. So it's like, that could seem really awesome depending on the situation, but if the thing becomes problematic, right? Because it's like, if you're friendly to it, then hopefully you'll feel bad about imprisoning the thing forever. If it's hostile, then you basically have a belligerent employee that you can't fire, that will continually try to disrupt your product. Like, it's basically like, you have the potential to end up with a Dobby that you can't free despite your affection for it. Or alternatively, you could have a creature that is going to intentionally disrupt your plans in your life as much as possible because it doesn't like you, but it's bound to you forever, and it's bitter about that. So I actually really like that. I think that's fun, because the other thing about it is, until you use it, you won't know if you created it. It's not like the item suddenly like comes up with a big video game style like cursed, right? Where it's like suddenly you realize you have a cursed item. That's not how this works. You try to do that, and if it's a cursed item, you've accidentally made a cursed item. And when you use it, you trigger the curse. So what it takes to remove, be removed magically. If the owner tries to remove the item without magic, the item kills the wearer, trapping their soul within it. We'll just kind of add that little bit there to make it real dark. This is probably one of the darker cursed items that I've ever made, but I actually think it's really interesting. I think it would be really interesting to see how players, if they ended up with this item, kind of reconciled and decided whether or not they were going to use it. I think it'd be really interesting to see kind of, what their thoughts were on it and how they went about all that. So I like it. I think that's good. I'm not convinced that I've come up with the best sentient options, particularly if it's a chaotic sentient item, but not all of them are going to be perfect, and we can always edit it later if it turns out to be just complete hot garbage. So I'm content with this item. I'm content with this item as it is, and I'm pretty sure that finishes our level 5 abjuration. So next time we can go on to level 6s. Yeah, that was the last level 5. That means we are at level, how many of the level 6s are there? Nope, not 7th, my bad. 6th, there we go. Both of them spells. Abjuration. The abjuration at 6th level. Well, there's a fair few of them. Fair few, so we'll have some more work to do, which I dig. I like this project. I really like doing this project. It's a lot of fun. But that said, as much fun as it is, that was a good warm-up, but I want to get us working on our campaign project that we've been going on. We're on the last section of our time in our city of Minadalla here, and I mean, if we could finish it today, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool if we could finish this up today. We're very close to being able to be finished with it. So yeah, I think that's good. Let me load up some of our maps and everything, so we can have those to take a peek the poo at. We want to be able to see what we're working on, if you know what I mean. I don't understand why Force is talking about inexperience overlay, because we're not doing anything that really requires GeForce. I don't understand what's happening. Come on, now open up. We need to also open up Dungeon. Or stop being pushy. There we go. Now we got Wonder Draft and Dungeon. Both very, yeah, see, there it is. There it is every time. I wonder if it's just because I'm screwing around with OBS and it's doing that. Maybe there was an update that started doing that. I feel like I've not seen it do that before. But maybe it's just because I'm ignorant and I didn't pay attention. Entirely possible. In fact, I might even go as far as to say that it's like flat out probable. It definitely have gone down that way. Okay. At any rate, let's open up some of our maps here. Open them up here. So we're on Minadalla Part 4. That's what we're working on. That one. Blank one. The windows. We need, that's the only dungeon we need. It's the only dungeon map we need right now. Other thing that we need then, the other few things, we can get our Minadalla map. We can get our Q5 map. And we can get our Zaorian map. All of these bad boys load up for a second here. Huh? Let all these guys load up, and then since I've got, yeah, man, it's just going nuts right now. NYG for going crazy on me right now. It's really weird. At any rate, all strange G-force happenings aside, let me give just a quick rundown of what we've done so far in the campaign. We've written a whole lot, an impossible amount for me to properly describe, but I can give the gist of it so that way those who are new to this project kind of have an understanding of what we're working on. Building a campaign that's intended to take players from level 1 to level 10, balanced for 5 players. It takes place in my homebrew world, which is this world right here, the world of Zaoria. This is a world that I have been working on for over a decade of my life at this point in time, when you count like the first stories that I wrote, the first world building things that I wrote and placed in this world. We've been working on this for over a decade at this point. Just so wild to say. Man, oh man, if there's something that'll make me feel old, it's starting to talk about parts of my life that were a decade ago. I mean, I know it's been relevant for more than just a day. I should be used to it. It's been relevant ever since I turned... I mean, really, it's been relevant ever since I turned 11, right? Because that's when we started having multiple sets of 10 years, potentially, even though they were only 1 year apart. You'd think I'd be used to it, but I don't know. Just something about it hits weird these days at 30, but whatever. At any rate, I've been working on this world for a very long time. I have a whole lot of affection for it. And pretty much anytime I'm writing a D&D thing, doing world building in D&D, it goes into this world. It's a post-apocalyptic world. There was a calamity type event called the Unhinging. In the way I always describe it is, imagine you have a jar with like different densities of liquid, right? So they kind of stratify, they make those layers. You know how like if you put in oil and water, you get the oil on top. You can do that with many different liquids all at once and have just multiple strata, multiple layers of liquid that all kind of separate, because this is what liquids of different densities do. So imagine you have a jar that's like that. That's what it's like when you think about the material planes and the ethereal planes, the elementals, all that kind of stuff. The idea is that all of them exist within the same, ecosystem, the same microcosm, whatever you want to call it. But they all kind of form their separate layers. So it's like possible to go from one layer to the next, but you kind of have to break through barriers and stuff. That's the kind of idea behind, the world of the gods, the world of the mortals, the worlds of the elementals, the Fey, wild, and all that kind of stuff. That's just how I describe it in my world. The Unhinging, this calamity event, the Unhinging was what happens if someone took that jar and just decided to shake it all up, right? They shook it all up, and you have all of these different densities liquids that are just now suddenly mixed together, and you have different bubbles and pockets of things that are in the wrong places. And that's kind of what it was when the Unhinging happened in the world. There were all kinds of just like pockets of misplaced chunks of different planes, different tears and openings and portals between realms opened up, so that all kinds of creatures just sort of like were either displaced or they found themselves accidentally going through, whether it's curiosity, whether it's intentional, whatever, going through these openings. The result is that the mortal plane became very, very dangerous very, very quickly. And most cities were either, not most, well, yeah, I guess I can't say most cities were either abandoned or laid to waste. Maybe a bit of both. Where this happened. And so the only people that survived were the people that were either already in very large fortified cities, or were close enough that they could quickly travel there and manage to get there, despite the dangers of the wilds as they were kind of growing. So that basically resulted in only there being about 11 or 12. I always forget the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 cities. So like the only people who survived were either already in those 12 cities or were able to make it to those 12 cities. And those cities are the ones that were just like the big fortified castle cities, as opposed to just outlying peasant shacks or just like a low level, one of them low powered castles, if you know what I mean. So like that's the state of the world. That's what all happened. The campaign and everything that I write in this world takes place about 2,000 years after that event. somewhere in that vicinity. It's not known to most exactly how many years. And so, as would happen with our jar of different liquids, they are starting to repercolate and reseparate, but it's a slow process. And people are still dealing with, all of the displaced monsters, all of the sort of like magical radiation that's coming from all these different realms being there in the open. So they're still dealing with it, but because things are starting to separate, the world is slowly becoming a bit more under control. So that we're now seeing a lot more expeditions out into the wilds in order to reclaim land, find lost, such and such relatives that you're usually hoping survived. That one's really for the elves. Everyone else, it's been so many generations that it doesn't really mean anything. But you know what I mean? So, like, the world can start being explored again. This campaign that we're working on sort of takes advantage of that concept, and it takes place in this hex right here. And basically what's happening is we have the city of Fosvik up here and the city of Mofafetting down here, and they want to create a specific trade route that can go straight directly between the two to help save some time so they don't have to go through this whole long shenanigan of a journey, which has historically been excuse me, I apologize, has historically been the only guarded and safe trade route between all of these cities. They want to create another one. They want to expedite some of that shipping stuff and help start building a more global world again. Global world, is that redundant? I feel like that's kind of redundant, but I don't know. I'm not actually an Englisher. I just I just do my best. But at any rate, that's kind of the atmosphere that we have going on here. We're taking, like I say, we're taking place in here, in this hex right here, with the efforts to make a pathway from north to south. And so now we can kind of head over to that thing. Let's head over to Q5. So this is the specific region that's happening here. Yes, I'm aware. Thank you. Video, please go away. Thank you. So this is our area that we're working with here. And you can see we're kind of starting to fill it up. We're a little over halfway through the steps that our players are going to be going through. They basically, the way the campaign goes down is they're part of this effort to work on finding a path south, and they make it to this cave and they're exploring this cave. But as they're doing that, a dragon shows up. As it turns out, the Goldwind Plains, which is here and further to the south and to the west, these plains are now the domain of a dragon. One might be able to guess that the dragon's not too happy about having its territory encroached upon. So it comes down. It's a metallic dragon, so it's got at least the courtesy to come down and be all like, "Oi, what are you doing here? This isn't your home. Why are you here?" And so all the people are all like, "Look, we're just trying to build a trade route. We understand you're probably not a super big fan of that, but is there like some sort of deal we can strike so that we can do this just so we can survive a bit better?" Dragon takes pity on them and says like, "Okay, well, there's this place called the Hall of Wisdom down over here. It's got some stuff in it, and I want it. If you can get me the keys that unlock the magical doors that's keeping it shut, I will let you guys build your road, and it'll be all cool. I'll even guard it for you guys." That's what he's after. Oh my gosh, the yawns today. I'm so sorry. So sorry. It's so rude of me. So our players, they'll be good players and they'll accept the call to adventure. And so they go on a key hunt, classic treasure hunt type of campaign. First key was up here in the giant territory. Second key was over here in the Durgar territory. Third key is going to be up over here in the Dark Elf territory. But right now we're working on this little city of Minadalla because our players are at the point now where they are trying to make it up here. But the fastest way is to go down to this abandoned city and hope that... Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. So sorry. What was I saying? Oh yeah, they're coming to this city here in the hopes that the previously existing teleportation circle that would run to the city of Ashran-Nalor, their next stop, is still intact. They get there, they find it's not intact, but there is this ancient wizard who's been living there trying to protect this abandoned ghost city for years and years, and he's willing to help them get their way to Ashran-Nalor, but they have to do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of finding items necessary. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. In the world. So that's kind of where things stand. We're finishing up our last section of this city of Minadalla here. You can see, we'll pull up, we do have a map of the city of Minadalla right here. That's not a super important one, but it exists. And then we're working on the details of this part of the overall map, which is our players are they have found a wealthy homestead that has its own sort of family tomb to discourage looters and stuff like that by just having it on the property or whatever. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Oh, I need more caffeine. But yeah, so they're in this area, but it has, over the years, stopped being a lovely hedge maze and turned into basically just a swamp. A swamp that is naturally going to have many dangers for our players. So that's what we're working on. That's everything that we're working on here. And I'm ready to dive into it. After I run to the bathroom real quick, I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'm going to just check I'm also going to, I might be gone just a few seconds longer. I'm going to check my email, make sure I haven't missed my package at this point, because it's supposed to be delivered anytime today. And I just want to make sure I didn't miss the doorbell buzzing, because I get my little monitors in here. So I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'm going to refill my drink. I'm going to check my email super fast. It's going to be so fast. Not a big deal. And then I will be back and we will continue working on this project and hopefully finish this chapter. I'm really hoping we can. We got 2 hours to do it. I think we can if we stay focused. So I'll be right back. I appreciate your patience. Okay, we're good. I have not missed my package. I did not miss the doorbell. I have no reason to think that I would miss the doorbell. It would make no sense for me to not hear the doorbell, because anytime it's rang in the past, it's been a huge distraction for me, even with my monitors in while on stream. But I'm so excited about these boxing gloves coming in. Like, seriously, we're totally gonna do like an impromptu unboxing because I'm just so excited. I'm not gonna want to wait. I'm so excited about them. At any rate, I like also that it's their boxing gloves, and we'll do an unboxing of boxing gloves. I mean, I'm the only one who thinks it's fun, but that's totally what we're gonna. That's totally amusing to me. At any rate, here we are. Let's work on this a little bit. Let's see. So here's our map. Let's just go, like, the trick is to just kind of go room by room and fill out some details. That's the step that we're on right now, is just working on some details. So I'm going to go ahead and have us do exactly that. So, let's do room number 2 here. We'll just keep going down in order here. There's no reason to do anything different. Beans, we got to come up with a puzzle. Okay, so the general rule of thumb that I use, I don't think about, I try to not think about puzzles as being explicitly a puzzle, like you have to put pieces together or anything like that. To me, the way I think about things is, like, same with traps. Traps, I don't necessarily like to just have them be, I don't like them to be just like oh, you've fallen in a pit and you can't get out, right? Like, I try to have them be a bit more broad. And so the concept for me is a puzzle is something that the players willfully pursue in order to find something extra, whereas a trap is something that happens to the players that they must overcome in order to continue on as intended, right? If that makes any sense. So, again, a puzzle is something that the players choose to interact with. A trap is something that forces the player's hands, in essence, is how I like to kind of think about those things. So, that in mind, puzzle, something that the players can choose to interact with here. What I want to do with this, and it's got some, and it's going to have lore as the reward here. I talked about how this hedge maze will probably have some really old, worn down statues and stuff in it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with that idea. I'm going to go ahead and say puzzle here. So I always add a bit of a description. I always add it like in paragraph form. So that way, when I'm DMing, if my brain isn't coming up with stuff like, you know, ad-lib style, I can still just sort of like read. I can just sort of have the freedom to I have something written down that I can just read, right? If my brain isn't ad-libbing very well, kind of like is what's happening right now with my brain. If it's not ad-libbing well, I have like a script that I can read. So at the very least, I'm providing a good description of whatever's going on to my players. So with this one, we'll go ahead and say, as you make your way through the edges into this open area, you find a statue sitting in the center of it all. So much of the base of the statue is covered by the water that makes this area more of a more of a swamp than a garden. You can still read the plaque. Sorry, itchy contact. Whenever the contacts get itchy, I have to like scratch my eyes. Like, you can't just rub your eyes when you have contacts in, right? Anyone who's had contacts is familiar with this. You can't just rub your eyes in any old way when you have your contacts in, because if you do that, you run the risk of accidentally moving them off, which then can get them like stuck under your eyelid, which is just one of the creepiest feelings in the world. It's just it's a mess. It's a mess when that happens. So you gotta like rub them in particular ways, and I've kind of learned like ways to do it, and it takes a long time, but you can kind of do it. And anyway, I don't know why I'm going into such a long description of it. It just explaining why I look really weird when I'm just like rubbing my eyes, which is something that every person does every day and looks much more normal doing. So you can still read the plaque that describes the statue. It reads. So what I think I kind of want to do is put like a riddle in the thing, and I kind of want to do where the statue will point in a direction, and there's like a treasure to be found or some information to be found elsewhere in the tomb area. Let me see here. It reads, "The ancestors watch over us and that which makes us family." which makes his family. I guess it would actually be easier if I tried to decide what exactly the lore information is going to be here. Oh, you know what? I was going to... I'm trying to think about it. So I wanted to try and give them some hints about the elven structure, because this house was going to be... Because, like, the whole arc of this, I'm remembering. It's coming back to me now. The whole kind of arc that's happening right now is that our players are working on going towards the elven city of Ashur Nalor. They are unaware of the fact that city is now overrun with drow. That are very... It's a particularly hateful society of drow. That are very much more like a horrifying cult, and our players are going to really be thrown into like a survival horror type of situation there. But what I want to do is kind of give them some basic ideas about what the Elven City is going to be like, because so this family is from the Elven City originally, and the reason I'm doing that too is it's not just pure random coincidence. It's because to build the teleportation circle, the wizard that's helping them needs an item from the intended destination, right? So from the city of Ashur Nalor, it needs an item from there. So they're going here, and so there's like it's this kind of looping situation in which they can kind of get some information here. So what I want to do makes this family. So the city we now call home is different than the city we now call home is different than where we come from. May we build this tomb in the ways in which we were taught back among the trees. And so I kind of want to do not much of a puzzle. Hold on, I'm gonna start fresh here. Let's start fresh with this thing. I feel like I'm barking up the wrong tree. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with recognizing that you need to do something different. Part of the hard, one of the things that's kind of hard about this is trying to think ahead to types of environments and puzzles I might be giving players when they get to Ashur Nalor, because I haven't thought too much about that quite yet. So I'm kind of like committing myself to some stuff in some way, shape, or form here. But I kind of want to like I say, give some clues that can help both inside of here and in the Elven City. And I'm wondering if we can do something like something that like describes a tradition of like only taking left-hand turns or something like that. So it's like if they're in Ashur Nalor and they're trying to figure out where to go, if they only take left-hand turns to get to this one type of place, like they can use that as a way to sort of like navigate the map without having any idea of what's going on in the map. Like something like that is kind of what I'm thinking. And if they do it in this maze, then they will also be able to find a little bit of treasure. Okay, here's an idea. Remember to always look with your elven eyes. May you find the treasures. Find the treasures that you seek. Find the treasures that you seek. And so then what I want to do is then I'm going to put a DM note here. So here's what I want to say for this. We can say it like, so we can have that little riddle there. That little riddle. That's fun to say. Little riddle. Have that little riddle right there. And it can be something like, the statue itself is of a proud elven man. Proud elven man holding a shield. Oops, had it right the first time. Damn it. There we go. Proud elven man holding a shield. Perfect. Let's see here. On the shield is a crest that includes an eye designed in elven fashion. Boom, there we go. And so it's kind of obvious, but like I say, we're using this as a teaching moment. And the other thing too, I will always say this, I will always reiterate this. If you're trying to come up with a riddle for your players to have fun with, always err on the side of feeling like it's a little too easy for them to figure out. Because it's easy enough for you to see the answer when you already know what the answer is, right? But if you don't already know what the answer is, already you've got a disadvantage. The other analogy I always use is, it might be clear as day to me, the thing that I write with Sharpie on your forehead, right? But you can't see your own forehead, and even if you have a mirror, it's going to be in mirror. It's going to be backwards, right? So just the metaphor being that it might be super obvious to you, the person writing the stuff, but to the person trying to read it, it might not be obvious in any way, shape, or form. So always err on the side of it being a bit too easy. They'll never go wrong because the worst case scenario is they have an easy time and they feel really good about themselves. So let's do that. So we'll say the solution here is to press on the eye of the shield. When they do so, they will open up a secret compartment that actually here when they do so, the shield will swing to the side, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside the here's what we're gonna do. It is an ornamented key. And I'm gonna put a little note here. The key will go to a locked room or chest in Ashran lore if players find it and remember the key. Boom, there we go. And then we'll say underscore lore thing. I need this to be, it's got to be in black font. It can't be in not black font. That's unacceptable. And so, but this is going to be all just in red DM note. There's nothing else to say here. Lore here is twofold. The players now have a key for extra treasure in Ashran lore. They also have been taught that pressing the eye image may result in finding things. We'll just say finding things when they get to the Elven city, right? Maybe they'll remember it, maybe they won't. It doesn't matter, but it's there, and we've like provided them this information, which is going to be a really fun callback for them, especially if they like remember it and it's been weeks or months or whatever. Players are going to love that. They eat that stuff up. They absolutely love it when they feel like they've really figured something out, you know. So never hesitate to give them a little extra stuff. And like I say, never hesitate to make it a bit on the easy side, because worst case scenario, they just make them, it makes them feel even more super awesome and intelligent. So perfect. So there's that room. We will go through and be decorating all of the rooms to make them a bit more, you know, matchy to what we're writing. But I like to do that at the end once I'm in decoration mode, because then it can be easier. And once we know all of the rooms, like once we know what all areas are going to have a statue, then we can just go through and like plop statues in. It just goes faster that way. So we will get there. But we're not going to do it right now. We're just going to move on to the next one. Yes. Oh, that's right. The boss. The boss is going to be a wandering boss. This is going to be a cool area. Golly. Not to pat myself on the back, but yeah, kind of came up with some cool ideas here. I'm pretty stoked about everything that's gonna be happening here. All about it. Okay, so boss battle. Now the boss battle is going to be worth 1,800 experience points. Wait, no, wait. That was just the boss monster. The boss battle is worth, there it is. Boss battle is worth 3,700. I was gonna say, I was like, wait, that seems kind of small for a level 6 boss battle. That's how much. That's how many experience it's worth. So it's gonna be one of the giant crocodiles. Let's see, where's that? There it is, giant crocodile. Ooh, wait, hold on. If we do 2 of them, that's gonna be 36. That's even better. Let's do that. Let's say it's 2 of those things. That'll bring us up just a little shy. We'll copy that. What are we gonna say? 2 of that giant crocodile, and then we'll also say any other enemies found in whatever room the players encounter the crocodiles in. Boom, and we'll explain that in a second. So, I'm gonna actually start this one off with a DM note. Area may or may not actually have the bosses, I guess, in it. Every time the players move to a different room, have the crocodiles move randomly to any connected area. This can be done with dice or at DM discretion. Boom, there we go. And so then we're just going to make our generalized description to be about the creatures here. So we'll say, as you move to the next swampy area, not suddenly, we'll just say, you notice some moving ripples among the knee. If it's gonna be giant, we'll say waist deep. Among the, well, we'll say knee deep because it's supposed to be them having a fairly easy time moving. Among the knee deep water. It takes a moment, but you realize just in time to draw your weapons that these ripples are caused by a pair of very large and very territorial crocodiles. And we can just leave it as that, because then it's going to be a battle time, so we don't need to necessarily get too in depth with it. And the other thing too is I don't want to get too in depth with describing one room, because the whole point of this boss battle is that the boss moves from room to room, so we don't know exactly where the players are going to interact with it. So I don't want to spend an overt amount of time describing everything. We can actually, know what we can do. We can describe it in the next section where we're going to put the reward, which is a rune here. So we can say, as you search around this otherwise empty, actually, yeah, here's what we can do. As you search around this largely empty area, you notice a statue near the center of it. It's very worn. Very worn. Actually, we'll just say it's worn. Worn to the point that you can hardly make out the features of this apparent stone carving of a humanoid, likely an elf. Boom. it, we'll say the face is almost mannequin like in its lack of features at this point. And you can, here's where we're gonna just add a fun little bit here. You can barely make out that it is a image, is a, we'll say it is a stylized, okay, we don't add the A there. Stylized. Good to know. No, I do that a lot. A lot of times I'll add extra letters in there, even to the point of making things have extra vowels, even though that's ridiculous. So yeah, it's a stylized eye that decorates the chest of the statue. Boom, there we go. And so now we can DM note this. Say players press the eye on the chest, a small door underneath it opens up, and then we'll say inside, so we'll do that, and then we'll give a little, we'll then also give a description here. This is going to be a, let me see, I gotta remember how I broke it up. If this is area 6, it's gonna be a level 2 rune of some sort, and the quickest and easiest way to do that, just because of the haphazard nature of what I have and haven't actually made into runes, the easiest way is we're gonna reset all filters. Wait for it to get there. There we go. And now we'll go spell level 2. Because the way I do it is cantrips are for dungeons geared towards levels 1 and 2 players. Level 1 spells are for 3 and 4 level players. Level 2 spells are for 5 and 6, and so on it goes, right? So 2 for each, because we have, if we count cantrips, we have 10 levels of spells, right? So that's the way I do it. And this section that we're at is intended to be for when the players are at level 6. So we're going to go with second level, filter it all out. We'll just look at our list, and we'll just find one that seems appropriate given the area that it's in, right? And so for the lore of this one, if there's anything that's kind of like almost elven in nature, right? So like blindness and deafness might actually be kind of a good one. Because we can, you know, because like elves with their vision and stuff like that, or you could do blur. Borrowed knowledge might be kind of an interesting one. Warden of Arrows, Crown of Madness, Darkness. Ooh, Darkness would actually be kind of an interesting one. Oh, everything's like Frozen Night now. Oh, there we go, with Dark Vision. That's perfect. Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll do, it's a spell of Dark Vision. That's perfect. I love it. I love it right there. As you pull out the single object sitting in this compartment, you see that it is a large rounded stone with an image of, hold on, what's the school of magic of this one? This is it's a transmutation one. Okay. Rounded stone with an image of the school of transmutation magic carved on one side, and some elven words carved on the other. And we'll just do DM notes, and we'll just say anyone who can read Elven knows that it simply says dark vision. Boom. So we do that, and then actually, what I'm gonna do, opens up. Inside is a rune of dark vision Or is it? It was rune of dark vision. Boom. There we go. Perfect. That's all we need. That's all we need right there, man. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's perfect. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I think that's cool. I actually like that we're already kind of taking advantage of we've taught them in one room to press the eye. And so now once they know that, they can kind of know like, oh, maybe we can do some other things. I think that works really well. That works really, really well. Okay, room 5 is going to have a hard battle in it. Hard battle McCormick. Hard battle. It's so hard. Such a hard battle. So, okay, if it's going to be a hard battle, that's going to be worth... What was the experience points that's worth? 2,800. Perfecto. 2,800 XP. Go. Formatting. So now we kind of decide. Have we already done a hard battle? No, we wouldn't have. There's only one hard battle per room set, the way I do things. So we can look and just see here. So we got to come up with 2,800. Gonna be a lot of stuff. So what's that's that could be, so we could do 4 of our giant snapping turtles, right? I have that right because 7 and 7 is 14. That's 28. So yeah, so we could just do 4 giant snapping turtles. I actually like that. I immediately like that. So 4 of the copied it when I was still up there. Giant snapping turtles. Perfect. Just a big ol' what's the is there a group title for like a group of turtles? Right, like how you have like a murder of crows. You know, something like that. Isn't there probably one? I'm sure there's one for turtles. A testament of turtles? I don't know. A trial of turtles? I'll look it up. What do you call a group of turtles? A group of turtles is called a bale. A bale of turtles. That's cute. Is that agreed upon? Yeah. Wait, is that the same? No, that's a different... Yeah, it's a different website. We have multiple websites calling them a bale. That means it's fact. That means it's 100% fact, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it could just possibly be that one site declared it first, and the rest of them just learned it from there because they all Googled it too. Oh, it's a bale of turtles. I'm using it. I'm absolutely using a bale of turtles because that's adorable. It's absolutely adorable. We all know it is. Okay. It's great. It's a bale of giant snapping turtles. Oh, boy. During this area, one... can be forgiven for thinking that it is full of giant boulders. But when the boulders start to move, it becomes clear that there is more than meets the eye in this area. See, look at that. I'm even accidentally sticking with the eye motif. We're not even describing the elven eye crest or whatever. We're stuck on it now. We're on just like a mental theme of eyes at this point in time. The eyes have it. We cannot hide from the eyes. More than meets the eye in this area. Closer look reveals that they are massive snapping turtles. They don't seem exceptionally fast, but that also seems like a sense of false confidence. One bite from these monstrosities could easily be enough to kill someone. To kill someone? No, to kill someone. To unalive someone. Make them not living anymore. I don't know, am I allowed to say kill someone? Excuse me, on stream, are we? I don't know, maybe it's a little sarcastic for me to say that because it's not like it's bad for us to be politically correct, but at the same time. Am I destroying my algorithms if I use the word kill? Am I making it worse by continuing to use the word kill? Probably. But gosh darn it, I'm going to just go ahead and use language that I feel like using because it's just all communication anyway. What did I miss? I don't know what I goofed up. I don't know even what I was doing. Anyway, yeah, I mean, we don't even need to add anything else to it. That's just pretty straightforward there. Dude, how am I going to explain why there's potions? Ugh. Oh, here we go. Do this. Players must try to harvest any of the turtles to find the potions here. And so we'll just kind of get it slightly graphic. As you gut the giant turtle, pulling everything out from its shell. Now we're getting really... you find that the stomach isn't completely empty. Inside there is nearly digested leather pouch with a few glass bottles inside. There's we'll say pouch containing a few. That's just going to sound better rather than saying inside multiple times in the same sentence. Inside there's a nearly digested leather pouch that contains a few glass bottles. They appear to be potions. Real lucky the turtle, I don't want to say this. Real lucky the turtle didn't seem interested in chewing its food that day. Boom, there we go. A little far-fetched, but like, hey, you know what? The whole thing is magic, so things are going to be a little far-fetched. 3x greater healing potions. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Good to go. If you're wondering why I keep glancing over to the side, I have the tracking for my item pulled up so I can try and know exactly when it's about to be delivered, as they slowly update it. Like I say, it's a big deal because I've been waiting for these for so long. It's new boxing gloves. I've been waiting for them for so long, and they require a signature. They require a signature for me to get them, so I don't want to miss them. It'd be so sad if I didn't have them for training tomorrow. All right, so there we go. So there's room 5. I like that one. I think that's good. Room 6. This is a safe room, and to have like nothing in it. Oh yeah, that's right. This is the actual tomb proper is what we were gonna do with this. We can check it out and see. Yeah, 6. The tomb proper. We were just gonna have that be safe. We'll say as you... Wait, hold on. I do need to like do that for myself here. As you reach the tomb at the center of this hedge maze garden, you find the doors held shut by a padlock. Fortunately, the lock is very rusted and not hard to break open. Hi, kitty. What are you doing here? Did you want to come up? What do you think, kitty? Did you want to come up? Oh, I'm just going to sit here and stare at you. Want to come up? Come up, honey. Just stare at me awkwardly. There you go. Come on up. You can do it. Come on up. There you go. Come say hi to everyone. There's the cattail. There she is. There's the little baby girl. I know, Leela. You're a good kitty. Come say hi to everyone. Yes, wave your tail. I know. I know. I hear you. Kitty. She's been very, very needy today. I'm surprised it actually took her this long to come up and join me. She was earlier today while I was working on other things. She was extremely snuggly and attention starved. The way, or at least as she would describe it, she was very attention starved. She's a sweet cat. Yeah, I know you're a very sweet little girl. A little in the way sometimes, but very sweet. Okay. Make open. With the lock dispatched, you are able to enter this this tomb. The building is a small structure with only a staircase inside that leads down. As you descend the stairs, I know, kitty. Oh my goodness, you are so sweet. Ah, gosh, I wish it was easy for me to just like quickly snap a picture and show all of you guys of her right now. She's just being so cute. So stinking cute. As you descend the stairs, you can see that this tomb is well made, with stones comprising the stairs, walls, and ceiling. That is helping to keep out the excess water from the new swamp above. What we'll just say. There's gonna be a lot of descriptions. The stairs descend for quite a while, occasionally turning until you reach a large open chamber. It is pitch black other than the torches. We'll just say we'll say it's pitch black inside, with any torches that may once have lit the area being long since destroyed by the moisture. Struggling here. Moisture in the air of this dark, damp. Boom, there we go. Stark Damba. Alright, hold on, let me set up there. Kitty. Hold on a second. Hold up. I'm gonna try something. I'm just gonna try. Oh, boop. There she is. Okay, hold on. Let me see if we can just like. Alright, here we go. This is what the kitty is doing on the desk right in front of me right now. Just laying there being as cute as possible. Just absolutely daring me to keep ignoring her and try to focus on what's going on stream right now. You are so cute. You are so stinking cute, and you know it. And you know it, and you're using that power to get attention from me. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. Everyone's aware that that's exactly what's happening, you little butt. I know, she's so cute. I'm giving her some scritches right now. She's a good, sweet kitty. Good, sweet kitty, and she deserves them. I know it. Oh, I know it. Ugh, I love her. I love her so much. I mean, how could I not love her? Just look at her. Oh my gosh. Look at that picture. Look, she's doing it again. She's just gonna keep doing it. She like does it and she makes very pointed eye contact with me anytime she does it. I know. Big yawn. Good kitty. Okay, sorry. Anyway, I'll try to focus. No, stop it. Kitty, you're too cute. She's now rolling over and presenting her belly, which I know is a trap because she'll want exactly 3 pets and then she will bite. I know. I'm giving her a little pet. Very sweet girl. You're a very sweet girl. Let me do some writing. All right. So we got that part. It's a safe room. We don't need to add anything else here. We're gonna say do our lore here, and remember that it's gonna have the thing. And we'll just say, as you walk up and down the tomb, you see the we'll say the stone coffins of roughly 4 generations of elven ancestors and descendants. There we go. At the furthest end of the tomb, you see a particularly ornamented coffin with many different and valuable items rested on it. Any of them, as you look, appear as though they will meet the needs of Sis. That's the name of the wizard. That's his nickname anyway. His full name is very, very long, so he goes by Sis. Because we decided to be smart asses, wise asses about it all, and give him a really long, complicated name just to screw with players. But it also screwed with me. I know, Kitty. It also screwed with me. Kitty, no, you can't bump the mouse, honey. No, you can't lay... Oh, honey. Don't get mad at me. You're the one laying down on the mouse. You can't do that. You know you can't do that. Don't you bite me. Don't bite me. When she gets mad, she gives me little love nips. So she tells me that she's upset. And she's upset that I am running into her with the mouse, even though she's the one rolling into the mouse. It's a very dramatic afternoon over here, as you can tell. We are definitely playing cat-human politics right now. I'll win because I'm the one who pays the bills and manages her food. So I'm going to win this one, whether she realizes it right now or not. That's just how it's going to go down. Okay. Any of them, as you look, appears that they will meet the needs of Sis for the sake of creating the teleportation circle. The items appear to include we'll say a decorative pin, a small knife, we'll say an embroidered leather pouch. I don't know what else would be just like a small valuable item. We'll say, and a well jeweled ring. There we go. I don't know, just something like that. And so they can take any or all of them or whatever, and it's up to the players, and they can just do what they want to do with any of that stuff, and that'll be perfect. Any more updates on the item, on my delivery? Nope, not yet. All right. So in an effort to invoke the item to show up faster, I'm going to run to the bathroom again. Because as soon as I'm indisposed in the bathroom, that's when they'll ring the doorbell. And I'll need to go down and sign. I'll need to like hurry up and zip up and run down and do it. Like, I just know that's what's going to happen. But I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. When I come back, we will continue writing until the packet... It says it's supposed to show up within roughly the next hour. So it's out for delivery. It said it should be here. We're going to find out. But yeah, when I get back, we'll keep writing. We'll try and finish, like I say, I want to try and finish this dungeon today with a brief pause to do the unboxing of my new boxing gloves because I'm so excited about them. And yeah, we'll keep going. So I'm going to leave you here with my cat. She might stand up and make an appearance. If she does, enjoy. But I'll be back very shortly. Off she goes. Kitty did not want to stick around while I was walking. She spooks very easily. This cat had kind of a rough childhood, so to speak. I adopted her when she was 2 years old. And prior to that, she had been found as a stray with eyes so infected that one of them couldn't be saved. So she only has one eye. And then spent a year and a half in the cat shelter where she was just very timid and very unhappy. She's not a super social cat with other cats. So being in the cat shelter, she spent most of her life hiding and being like uncomfortable. And because of that, she never really got noticed and adopted. And that's why it took so long for her to be adopted. I saw her. I thought she was absolutely adorable. And I totally identified with the need to have a quieter living environment. So I just thought she and I would be a good match. And it turns out I was right. But it has taken a lot of work to get her to be comfortable in the apartment. And while she largely is very comfortable around here, she's a very sweet, very happy cat. She does still have these instincts of, if any living creature is approaching her, her immediate instinct is to like be on alert and possibly run away. We're slowly breaking her of that knee-jerk reaction. So a lot of times, depending on how relaxed she is, she'll let me approach her. But in many situations, when I approach her, she runs away in a panic. So, oh goofball! I love this cat. I love that cat so much. He's such a sweetheart. All right. Anyway, let's see if we can't finish this up. We've got a little over an hour, which means we probably have an hour for when my gloves show up here. Keep talking about it. I'm so excited about it. Seriously, I'm so excited about it. They're gonna be so pretty. They're gonna be so pretty. I might have to quickly just like build a bonus scene so we can have like a zoomed in camera so you guys can see it more easily, because all of my cameras are a little small. I mean, I guess I could probably just like blow up the camera and then shrink it back down once we're done. But at any rate, let's see here. So we got an easy battle here in this one. Easy battle. Easy battle. And that's going to be worth 950 experience points. We've done so far for easy battles. We've done 2 giant crayfish for 900. And then that's the only one we've done so far. Okay. All right. What I'm thinking we can do, I think we can actually, since it's 950, I think we'll just do one of them. We can just do 5 of the giant toads just to make an even 1,000 experience points. I think that'll be a perfectly good battle there. I like the idea of that one being panic-inducing because no one wants to get eaten. You only just now got the Discord notice? Oh. Well, that's not right. I mean, I'll admit I was a little late starting today, but I put that notice up like, I don't know, at this point in time, it's got to be close to 3 hours. Well, no, it would be like 2.5 hours ago, but still. Well, I'm sorry about that. I'll have to look and see what's up with that. I wonder if that's on my end. Well, you know what? We're still going. We're still going, man. We got another little over an hour. So, hey, glad you're here at all. Glad you're here at all. I appreciate your presence, even if it's a little late to the party. Sometimes it just happens, and that is okay. Like I say, I always just appreciate the sentiment of showing up at all. It means a lot to me. But at any rate, easy battle, 1,000 experience points, 5 of our giant toad dudes. Not the giant crocodile, not the giant crayfish. We got a lot of giant creatures running around here. Giant toads, there we go. These are the ones. No, I'd already used them. A lot of giant swamp creatures. Because our players are high enough level now that it doesn't it's not actually a challenge for them to just like kill a regular toad. Like, it's got to be a giant one if there's going to be any sort of combat involved here. And then we'll have lore in it. I don't know exactly what I want to do. We could try and stick with the lore themes that we've been using so far. Kitty, what's up? Do you want to come back up, Kitty? Want to come back up? Back up. Or you can just keep rubbing your face on the leg of the desk. That's fine too. It's up to you. It's just usually when you do that, it's because you want to come up. Come on. There you go. Come on up. You can come up. Yeah, you can come up. Come on. Need that. Come here. There you go. Good girl. There she is. There's the cattail. I really need to get a second camera that just like points down the desk so you can see her doing her little cat cam stuff. It's being the adorable fuzzy thing. See, everyone loves you. They all love you more than me. I know, they do. It's fine. I totally get it. little kitty. No, don't sit on the mouse and click things, please. That's not appropriate kitty behavior. I don't. Are you gonna come on the lap? Oh, okay. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yes. Bump the mic. Bump the mic. Make everyone go deaf. There you go. Look at baby. There she is. Come on. There's the little baby. Say hi, Leela. Say hi to the world. They all love you. They all love you. Anyone who has ever spent time with cats understands. They dominate everything. They demand the center of attention. They demand to be the center of attention, and frankly, we are just powerless to try and refuse. They're just too cute. I know, you are too cute. How'd you do that? How'd you get to be so cute? How'd you pull that off? I don't understand how she did it. You managed to just be the cutest thing in the world. I don't know how you did it. I know, it's absolutely remarkable. You're also still shedding so much. Ugh. With the weather getting warm, this poor thing has been shedding so much. I try to help her brush and keep up with it, but the number of hairballs is just exponentially increased. It's like 2 or 3 a week now. From, in the winter it'll be like 1 a month tops, and now it's like 2 or 3 a week. I feel so bad. I try so hard, but she's a very meticulous self-cleaner, and makes it quite difficult to keep up. Poor darling dear. I know. Go kitty. Sweetheart. Anyway, I'm doing very bad at staying focused if I want to finish this this section here today. And I'm just pure white. Yeah, I know. I feel you. She's not even pure white, but like the hair is just noticeable enough. Like the only reason I'm getting away with it right now because I have a black shirt, but there's a lot of pattern on it, so I kind of get away with it. But all right, let's see here. Easy battle. This one doesn't really take a whole lot of special description or anything. We can just say, wading into this part of the overgrown hedge maze, you find yourself intermingling with multiple giant toads. As they, whoops, nope, I didn't mean to press enter there. That's my bad. Oh, where are you going, kitty? Gonna stand up in the way? Okay. I know. You go right on ahead and do that. Little butt. Alright, mingling with multiple giant toads. I'll say as they notice your presence one by one, they all seem very interested in you. So actually, yeah, I'm gonna make this fun. Suddenly, actually, here's what we're gonna do. They all seem very interested in you. I'm gonna say, if players initiate combat here, then just roll initiative. If they don't, go with the following to initiate combat. I'll just add a little bit here. Suddenly, a massive rope-like tongue shoots out of one of the toads, attempting to glom onto the nearest of you to it. And then we'll go ahead and do, let me just see here. Is there giant toad, bite, swallow, a bite, weapon attack, poison damage, target is grappled. Okay, yeah, there it is. We'll go ahead and do the bite attack, and we'll just say it's trying to eat him, basically, is what we're going with here. So we'll say do a bite attack against one player, and then once the results of that are determined, roll initiative. Boom, there we go. Perfect, I love it. All right, so the lore for this one, I'm trying to gear the lore in here to be, I want it to be indicative of what our players can kind of expect. What are you looking at, Cat? You're staring like you're about to jump and attack something on the wall right by my monitors. I don't like that. I don't want you to knock over a monitor. Hey, what are you looking at? Just give me this look like nothing. You don't need to worry about it. I'm not doing anything. Yeah. All right. Here, so the lore. So I want the lore to be to offer some sort of clues about what they may have to deal with in terms of navigating Ashra and Nalor when they get there, right? Because this last area is meant to be an elven homestead, so it's a good opportunity to kind of give them some clues about all that kind of stuff. We already kind of gave them a clue about the eye crest image or whatever, for players to sort of understand that they can look for that, and so we can plop those around in there. Like the other thing that I'm just wondering, but I don't know if there's really a smooth way to do it, is if I can kind of present them a sample map of what the city Ashra Nalor will look like, so when they get there, they can have an easier time navigating and knowing where they want to go. And so I'm wondering if we can just do. Oh, let's see here. Let's go ahead and say, like in other areas of this. You can see her tail flicking in and out of the camera, can't you? Yeah. This cat is kind of like a dog. She uses her tail to indicate her moods, which is super cute. But yeah, like when she's in a good mood, she like just wags her tail, and it's super cute. But you know, it's like a long cat tail that just kind of like flicks and worms its way around as she wags it. It's so funny. It tends to get in the way. She also hits things with it. It's like a dog that gets so excited that like they hit their tail on the wall, and so you hear like the thump 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 thump. She'll do that, but like she'll position herself so that she whacks me with her tail. So I'll be sitting there just like ep, ep, ep. Like she'll do that when we go to bed. And she'll like curl up next to my head and then wag her tail so that it keeps hitting me in the head. It's like I can't rightly fall asleep when you do this to me. Why must you do this to me? Adorable. If it isn't clear, I'm obsessed with my cat. I love her dearly. Alright, so yeah. So like in other areas of this semi-submerged hedge garden, there is a statue in the center. In the center of this area. We'll say it appears to be a statue of a compass, though not a functional one. On the plaque is an engraving. Which reads, and so I basically what I'm gonna do is try and just say, oops, sorry, bumped. Now I'm the one bumping the microphone, being a jerk here. I kind of wanted to just say something along the lines of like, when lost, center your focus. You will always find your way, and then like just do that so that in the center of any map, like in the middlemost room when they get to Ashra Nalor, maybe there's just like some sort of like clue or hint, and just make it so that like it kind of functions like that, like as if the elven, I don't know, way is to, when you're in an area, find the most central area, and that's where you can then find your way out. So it's like you just kind of have to work away from the edges of wherever you're at. I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced, but something along those lines is kind of what I'm looking for here. I'm trying to think about what would be good for that. Or maybe we can do something like, Remember to look towards your elders. They always can offer guidance when you need it most. And it's just as simple as that, but if they read that, then, like, maybe they'll remember that, and then when we get to Asher and Allure, there'll be, like, maybe there's some statues of old heroes, right? Or there's, like, a hall of elders or something like that, and anytime they go towards those types of things, there'll be, like, a clue about what they're trying to achieve there. And I think that'll actually work really well, because we're going to make it, like, we're going to make it a, what am I trying to say? A survival horror type of situation. And so if we give them that, like, kind of guidance, maybe it's like in those areas there'll also be, like, the safe area, maybe because the drow are, like, afraid of or averse to, you know, the old elven ways, and so they avoid the like the things that are indicative of, like, elders and the old ways. We can do something like that. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with the details there, but we've got a setup there and we can use that. So I think that works just fine. Ooh, a trap. All right, this is, I think actually this will be pretty easy to come up with something good for this, because we have ourselves an impromptu swamp. I think it's pretty obvious. We're gonna put some quicksand in here for them. I think there's no other way. I think that's the only option. As you enter this area, you can see what appears to be okay, wait, hold on. Let me just look at the area here. Let me think about how to do this. Number 8. Okay. Yeah, 8 is kind of meant to be this whole area here. Okay, I think what I want to do, I mean, I'm definitely going to go with the quicksand idea. That's just beautiful. It's beautifully perfect. And it's like, you know, it's such a great opportunity to give, you know, our players the chance to encounter quicksand. Because how many of us as children grew up thinking that quicksand was going to be a much bigger deal than it actually was in life? You know, I did. Right? Because all the cartoons and everything always show quicksand happening, like, every other episode. And then, like, you hear about someone who's got the idea of, like, oh yeah, no, here's how you get out of quicksand, right? It's the same as, like, the whole stop, drop, and roll for fire thing. Like, it had me thinking that being on fire was going to be a much more common issue than it was. But I've never once encountered quicksand. Not once. Not once. And that's probably true for most people. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and give people that situation. We're going to give that to our players. We're going to give them the chance to prove that they know how to handle quicksand and sink in quicksand, because it hasn't been necessary until now. And it might not be their own life on the line, but it's the life of their lovingly crafted D&D character. And to some people, that is just the most important life of all to protect. So, all right. So yeah, as you can see, what appears to be a what we're going to entice them. A pouch that is stuck among the brambles of one of the hedges in the corner. And so what we're going to do, we're going to do a DM note here, and we're going to say DC 14 to notice that the muddy ground directly in front looks a little strange. And what we'll do is then we'll say DC 14 to notice, or DC 14, yeah, to understand that it's quicksand. So we'll do that, and so then so assuming they encounter that or figure that out, then we'll go on to this next bit, and we'll say actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add a little bit of a DM note here, and we're just going to say, if they figure those two things out, offer the following. Yeah, we'll do that, and then Boom. Boom. As you look at the ground, however, you can't help but think that just stepping towards this pouch is a terrible idea. The ground looks suspiciously like quicksand, and that is bad news if you ever want to leave this area. And then we'll do another DM note here, and we'll say, if they go for it anyways, or if they never figured out it was quicksand. There's kind of quicksand there the way I had it beforehand. My apologies. That's a little, well, you know, a little inappropriate and a little inflammatory. If they go for it anyways, or if they never figured out it was quicksand, have them deal with the quicksand trap. Boom, there we go. And so now, oh, actually, I don't know why I was acting like that needed to be a separate thing, because it's all, we can do the quicksand trap in here. Quicksand trap, basically what we're going to do is we're going to say, anyone stuck inside must make a save to, must make a save to escape the sand. We'll say DC 14. If anyone is helping those trapped, if anyone is helping those trapped, but the trapped still fail with the assistance, the helper is then pulled in. Players can have 3 tries to escape before being submerged. I'm just kind of making this up off the cuff here. This is kind of complicated, so I'm hoping that it kind of works out balanced and makes sense here. If anyone is helping those trapped, but the trapped still fail with the assistance, the helper is then pulled in. Players can have 3 tries to escape before being submerged. Each failure, however, results in a level of exhaustion being added. So it's like, because it's so much work to try and get out of there, that you end up taking a point of exhaustion just trying to pull that off. Is sort of the idea here. Sort of the idea I'm going for. And I think that'll work. If players are completely submerged, we'll say the rest can have a few minutes. Well, I'm not gonna say a few minutes. Can have a minute or 2 of in-game time to try and fish them out before we have to figure out PC death. Boom, there we go. We'll just put it that way. I mean, I feel like that's some pretty generous ways for them to get out. But it's quicksand, man. Quicksand is a scary, scary thing that, you know, we never thought we'd have to deal with, but now we have to deal with. So I wanted to live up to all of our horrible expectations of what quicksand would be like. I want it to feel as real as we imagined it feeling. I mean, realistically, it's not actually that hard to get out of quicksand. You just gotta not, like, panic and jiggle around, and you just gotta make your surface area as wide as possible, so that way you kind of, like, float on top. Pretty easy, actually, to handle quicksand, as long as you know what you're doing. But damn it, in the spirit of things, we all viewed it as being this horrible, terrifying thing. So, you know. So we'll say, yeah, you know, we can just write it. Inside of the pouch is a small collection of wealth. It's hard to say how this ever got here, but finders, keepers, and all that makes you pretty happy to be the finders in this situation. Boom, there we go. And so now we'll just come up with our let's just come up with a little bit of treasure. We're just gonna go ahead and use our loot gen system here. This thing is just such a wonderful tool. I love using this. Treasure hoard 0 to 4. I like to base that off of what the boss of the area is gonna be. So let's see here. When I say the boss, I mean like the challenge rating. Challenge rating of this boss is a challenge 5. So we can bump that treasure loot table up, or CR5 here. Roll loot. Oh gosh, that's so many gemstones to have to like edit the typing for. I'm gonna skip the magical items. I've been balking from giving them magical items, just because I don't want players to have too many, and I give them a lot of opportunities to find magical items outside of these treasure hoards. So we'll just do that. And I'm just gonna get rid of that part. Being coinage 100. So I reformat this a bit. So 15 100 GP gemstones, and then get rid of that part. That just ends up being so much more smooth to write it that way. So let's see. A couple things I want to do to format this a bit better. Rid of that. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and remove the links. Link. Remove link. There we go. Remove link. He's not the hero of this one. He needs to stick with his Zelda saving and all that stuff. And we'll just delete this extra stuff and then add the numbers. So this one's, there's 2 of these. 2. Ember is going to have 3. The Chryso barrel. The Chryso barrel. Like a Chrysler, but with a barrel. Wait, how many was in that one? 2, okay. Got too busy trying to make a bad joke that I forgot to actually memorize how much it was. 2 pearls. 2 garnets. And then the rest of them are all singles. They are single and ready to mingle. That really kind of gets us into the lore of Steven Universe a bit there, doesn't it? Gemstones that are single and looking to mingle. Kind of a main part of the story, at least in some episodes. Anywho, referential comments aside, that handles that room. Great. We've only got 2 rooms left. Hell yeah, we're totally going to finish this. We're totally going to finish this and we can get some decorations. Because we don't need to do much to decorate. This is all an outdoor area. So really just putting in a few extra like vines and bushes and a couple of these statues that we've talked about. And bada bing, bada boom. It's going to be done. So we're getting very close. This is great. I'm stoked to be at this point. Because I'm ready to go on to our Asher Nalora. I've been excited about designing that survival horror area for the players for so long. I'm stoked about it. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be good times. Let's see here. So let's just underline this. Easy battle. Supposed to be roughly 950 experience points. We have one that's 1,000, one that's 900. We already did the 2 giant crayfish. I kind of want to do a giant snapping turtle and a giant toad just chilling out there. I think that'd be fun. Just on opposite sides of the room. Hold on, this one. Oh wait, hold on. That'll be 900 XP. And then one of our giant snapping turtles. And then one of our... Where's the giant toad? There's our giant toad. Copy that. It'll be fun. I love it. Oh, I love it a lot. So, hold on. Let me take a look at the map here. Area number... Oh, that's kind of a tight one. Actually, no, I have an idea. As you enter this area, you find yourselves facing a strange sight indeed. In the center of the area, there is a giant toad sitting on the shell of a giant snapping turtle. They both look at you rather surprised. And perhaps a little embarrassed. Embarrassed at having been caught mid piggyback ride for a moment before moving towards you. Can you blame them? A meal is a meal after all. There we go. Just add a little bit of levity in there, a little bit of humor. Gnat is fun to say, but I really want this to be giant instead. So I'm going to edit that and make it giant. Not giant as in like I'm not changing this font size. I mean the word giant. This reads the word giant. That's all I'm doing. All right. Lore. All right. This is a really sarcastic approach. This is a really sarcastic cop-out, but I kind of want the lore to just be, you've learned that apparently toads and snapping turtles, apparently toads love taking turtle rides, and just have that be the lore. I'm really tempted to do that because I've already given them 2 clues about Asher and Lore, and I don't know what other bits of lore about this city would really be relevant in the specific family's, you know, backyard burial ground like they've got set up, like the rich bougie sons of guns they are. So, I think I just want to say, I think I'm going to do it. I'm just going to say, you've learned something valuable today by seeing that giant toads do indeed enjoy riding on the shells of giant turtles. Boom, there we go. Perfect. I really like it. I actually really like that. I think that's funny. It's a nice additional little bit of levity there. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Especially because, like, this is the last step before they have to go to the horror show of Asher and Allure. So it's like, might as well give them a little bit of as much of a breather, as much of a light-hearted experience as I can before subjecting them to that. Seems like the polite thing to do, you know? Oh, there we go. So the last one here. Medium battle. And the medium battle is worth. We should have already done a medium battle. Let me check here. Yeah, medium battle 2000. I just did 10 giant toads. Wow. And I'm really laying it on them there, aren't I? I mean, I think it's fun anyway, so medium battles were supposed to be worth 1850. So if we could do 4 giant crayfish, and that would be worth 1800. And since the last one was 2000, I think that's fair. We'll just do 4 giant crayfish for this one. for 1800. Medium battle, 1800 XP. Boom, boom, boom. 4x giant crayfish. Boom, there we go. How big is this area? I feel like this was another tight area, wasn't it? And it's not so bad. It's not so bad. We'll just say, okay, and so we'll say, wading through the water of this area, you can see the carapaces. Carapaces? Oh, because I did crapaces. You can see the carapace of this thing. Carapace. Carapace? Like that. Carapaces. There we go. You can see the carapaces of 4 giant crayfish. I'm going to go ahead and DM note this one, and we'll say players can try and sneak past since the crayfish are hunting in the water and distracted. DC, we'll say DC 12 because they're distracted and they're making their own splashing noises there. DC 12. If they fail, boom, boom, and then we can add a little bit here. Unfortunately, there it is. Unfortunately, your own splashing through this, man, oh man, you can tell it's always, you can always tell when we start getting towards the end of the stream. My fingers start getting clumsy, my brain starts getting slow, and it just, the quality just goes straight down, and my voice is cracking now and everything. Oh my god, everything's just falling apart. Everything's just falling apart. Still waiting on my package. Really want to get those boxing gloves. I really want to open them up, man. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about them. You have no idea how excited I am about these things. They're so pretty too. Like if we can do just a quick unboxing of them on stream, right? If they get here before I have to dip out and leave, I'm gonna do an unboxing. You're gonna understand. You're gonna understand why I'm so excited about them. They're so pretty. I'm so excited about them. Holy crap. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know most people don't care about it as much as I do, but my god. Hurry up, Uspis. Bring me my package. Okay, unfortunately, not you own, it's your own. Splashing through, unsplashing through the swamped, grass and large puddles attracts the attention of the giant creatures. And then there's just battles on at that point in time. That's all we gotta do. Okay, and so here what we're gonna do for this one. I'm trying to lean a bit more towards looting the bodies as being a relevant thing. So when there's treasure, if it's reasonable to, I kind of like it to be more so get it from the creatures rather than just like, oh, there's a random treasure chest sitting in the corner, right? So for this one, so for the money, what we'll do with this one is we're gonna go ahead and boom, and we'll say the treasure here only be found if players try to harvest anything from the dead creatures. Creatures, there it is. So we'll say, as you carve into the bodies of the dead crayfish, you find many of them to be full of various coins and other valuables. It's hard to say what would have compelled these creatures to eat money like this, but all the better for you now that it's a simple rinsing away from being perfectly usable currency. Boom, there we go. And then we just gotta generate ourselves another loot table here. Again, we're gonna not worry about our magic items, and so we'll just copy and paste this and edit it as need be. But yeah, I'm trying to stay away from doing, you know, the whole magical items in a not magical item loot room, just because, you know, they don't need 8 million magical items. They don't need that. Got to keep that under control, otherwise they stop being special. You know what I mean? Can't have it not be special. Defeats the point. Defeats the whole purpose. Okay. Sorry, my cat was like freaking out there, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing like a knock at my door or something. All right. So then 50. So 8 times 50 GP. Go. The formatting. It bothers me the way they format it. I know I'm being nitpicky with it, but golly, it's a weird way to format it. It's a weird, not natural way to format it. If you ask me, anyway. Link, remove link. All right, so there's only one Jasper, so we can just delete that. It's kind of tedious to do this. I could just leave it there, but I don't know. It just seems like a lot of superfluous information that just kind of makes it more confusing and less appealing to look at, you know, to the eye. You know what I mean? So I prefer to just simplify it. And if the players don't understand what any of these gems are, they can just look up a picture of it. You know, we don't need to offer description because these are all real gems. These aren't made up things. These are all real gems. All real jewels that can be found in the world. So it just makes more sense to do it this way. But there we go. All right. And that's, holy crap, that's the last bit of description we need to add to any of these rooms. That's excellent. Oh, that's really excellent. I'm really happy about that. I'm really, really happy about that. Good progress today. Like, I'm really happy about the progress we made today. It's, I don't know. Like, we've been working on this area for so long. I'm really happy to be pretty much at the end of it. We just have to decorate our map a little bit. And then we made really good progress. So, yeah, let's just get to it. Let's do it. I'm going to, let's see. So we're just going to start at room 1, and we're just going to decorate them as need be. This one, push the entrance main. You can immediately see this is going to be more difficult than simply navigating confused set of aisles. It's almost confusing, right? Aisles, because we're having things be swamped. It's like, not aisles as in like little islands of not swamped area, but aisles as in like walking down. It's kind of confusing. We're just going to say a set of hedge lined hallways. Let's do that. I feel like that just works a bit better. Not that I'll really probably read it out loud anyway. Giant crayfish, they don't see right away, but you get the sense that they aren't going to like you trying to just squeeze past them. Yeah, okay, so we got that one. We don't really need to add any extra decorations to that room. Like I say, a lot of this can just sort of stay as it is. It's kind of meant to just be like a swamped out hedge maze. I mean, I guess I could add a few more plants to make it look a bit more overgrown and weedy and stuff like that. So maybe we'll do that. But I'm going to get the details that we need to for any of these. So like this one needs a statue. It's a statue of a dude. So let's go ahead and do that. Objects, object tool. Go to structure, store statue. There we go. Need to find one that looks like it's holding a shield of some sort. Should not be too hard. That one is kind of explicitly holding a shield. It looks like it's definitely a shield, and it looks like a guy with a ponytail, which really kind of gives the whole elven vibe, you know what I mean? So, heck yeah, and that was, I'm pretty sure, room 2. So we'll just go ahead and put this guy, like, right there. Boom. Perfect. That works. Oh, wait, no, hold on. I think I've got it accidentally facing a different way. Undo. Wanted it facing this way. Badoom. There we go. Perfect. Perfecto. Got that one. What's up, kitty? You're staring at me. Staring at me, making it awkward, huh? You gotta do that to me. Yeah. Alright, this one. Boss battle. That's right, so there's nothing special that we need about that one. Indian battle. Nothing special about that one. Hard battle. Nothing special. Safe. That's the tomb. That one's taken care of. Easy battle. Nothing special. Trap. This one had Oh, that's right. This one had the quicksand, and when they had the little bit of treasure in there. So room 8, I guess we can add like maybe a little thing to make it look more like quick scanned in there. Quick scan. That's when you go to the store and you work really, really fast at the self checkout. It's quick scan. Do you like how I just look at the camera and laugh? Like, I'm so funny. That was my joke. I came up with that. I'm so funny. Like, what an arrogant thing for me to do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. That was weird. What dirt. Just make it patch of like, oh, that's a really big patch of dirt. We don't need a big patch of dirt. Go under with it. We just do that right there. That makes it look kind of like that makes it kind of look quicksandy. There we go. All right. What else do we need? Easy battle. Hold on. What? Oh yeah, the ones that have lore. Those are the ones that I'm missing. Putting stuff in treasure lore. So this one, room 7, is gonna have a statue in it. This one was statue of a compass. Okay. In room 7, a statue of a compass. So we'll see if we have anything that looks kind of similar to a compass. That's actually kind of convenient. It's like mirror image of the other one. It makes sense that there'd be a statue there. Go back to our statues. Any of these are gonna really look like, I guess that kind of looks like a compass. We'll just do that one and say it's a compass. Why not? That in line. Oh yeah, look at that. And I just not accidentally, I purposefully made it exactly in line with the other one. Boom, mirror image. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Like it, love it. Gotta have it. Update on my package. They've got a half hour before it's late from what they are saying. I want those gloves, man. I'm so obsessed. I'm so obsessed. Just say if we can open it up. If okay, and here's the thing that I promise. If they show up and I'm not able to open them up on stream, I'll put a picture on Discord and on Instagram so you can see how beautiful they are. Because I've been hyping them up so much. And I swear, I'm not just like fooling with you. They're not just like your standard red cartoon boxing gloves or just like borderline or just like boring basic black, right? They're really cool. They got a cool pattern on them. I'm super excited about them. They're so cool. So cool. You have no idea. But you will once I show them off. You'll have an idea. All right. Okay, and that one, yeah, 3 and 7 stuff. Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, room 3. That's the only other one that needs a statue here. The only other one. Oh, that's the only other one that needs a statue, but I don't think it's gonna be the only one that I put a statue in. This one also had. This one's just supposed to be of a dude. So we can just like grab something like a statue of a dude of some sort. This is a statue of a dude that works. Put the statue of this dude like right here. There we go. And then just for the sake of conceptual symmetry, I'll put one more statue. I don't know. It's a different dude. That's fine. And that one will go in 8 here. I want it facing that way. There we go. And yes. Boom. There. Centered. Bada bing, bada boom. Honestly, I think that's good. I really want this to just be like a big, open, swampy mess of a former hedge maze. I honestly think we're kind of good here. Honest to goodness, I think it's great as it is. A little bland, but that's okay. It's just a swamp. Swamps aren't typically particularly filled with all kinds of interesting, phenomenal landmarks. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how they are. It's swamp. I mean, what more do you want from me? Come on. Oh, I think that works. I really think that works. I like it. I like it, and that makes me really excited because that means we're done with this whole chapter. This whole chapter 6, we're done with it. We did it. Did it. Wow. I don't know. I'm actually kind of genuinely a little bit in awe of it. Like, we've been working on this section for so long. It feels really good. It feels really good. It feels really good to be making progress on stuff. And I really like it. And I'm really excited about the next part. Okay, we still got a half-hour stream, and I want to fill up some time just in case the package shows up. So, I'm going to run to the bathroom one last time. And I'm primarily just doing that at this point as a way for me to buy some time, because I don't know that I necessarily want to dive right into our next chapter. because I don't want to write like 3 sentences and then forget what we wrote and basically be starting again next time. So I'm gonna run to the bathroom, try and come up with something interesting to do on stream here for our last few minutes, something writing based. And then yeah, I'll be right back. So I appreciate your patience, and I will see you very, very shortly. My friends, perfect timing has solved the dilemma of what to do with the rest of this time, because while I was up to the bathroom, my package was delivered. Oh my god, they're gonna be my new gloves. Hold on, I gotta go get a knife so I can open them up. We're gonna unbox this right now, and I'm gonna show off my beautiful new boxing gloves. Oh my gosh, they are so cool. All right, hold on, give me a second. Hold on, I gotta do a couple things. One thing here, because we're gonna do like a special unboxing thing here. I'm just gonna make the camera real big, and then I'll shrink it back down when we're done. But there we go. So now you can see it. Hold on. Let me go grab a knife so I can open this up. Oh. Oh. Oh my gosh, they're gonna be so cool. Do not use blades to open. Oh, it doesn't want me to use blades. How am I supposed to open it then? It's like, it's tape. They just want me to be super careful with it, is what I'm assuming here. Let's see here. Because I know it's exactly what's in here. It's my gloves. And I guess I wasn't expecting them to be in a package this small. So I guess I'm just gonna like have to try and like pick and peel the tape away. I think that seems like it's what the solution here is. Because I don't, without, it's like, it's got packing tape. I don't know how I'm supposed to remove packing tape. Not gonna come off. I'm wondering if I can just like muscle it open here. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Sometimes you gotta earn these things. That's what I'm gonna chalk this up to. Some might call it misfortune. I'm calling it one last challenge to earn it. There we go. Got it. Ah. Oh. Oh, they came in their own like little silk bag and everything. Guys, these are so cool. I know, generally speaking, people aren't here to watch me obsess about Muay Thai and kickboxing and all that stuff, but you guys, oh my gosh. Come on. Oh, they came with their own little case and everything. Look at that. They're in their own little... This is a weird material. It's like a silk almost. It's like a silk... Oh, let me just hold it up to the camera there. Yeah, the rival brand boxing gloves. These are bag gloves. But yeah, they're in their own like little carry case. It's like silk, I swear. Is it... Oh, you know what? Is it... Oops, sorry, I'm bumping the mic here. Yeah, it's like a fancy silk, like rope drawstring bag thing. That's what it is. Oh, it's a weird consistency. I'm not a huge fan of it. Oh, there they are. They're so pretty. Oh my gosh, these things are so pretty. Hold on, let me pull them out of the plastic here. I pull them out of the plastic so we can all get a good look at them. Come on. Oh. Oh, they smell like beautiful leather. Oh, these things are going to be so awesome to use. I'm so excited about this. Oh, I'm so excited I have these in time for class tomorrow. Alright, here we go. Here they are. Let me hold them up here. Look at these beautiful things with their paint splatter neon design. Oh my gosh, they're so cool. Oh, these are so pretty. Oh my gosh, I know it doesn't mean anything to like anyone else but me, but they're so beautiful. Oh. Hands in these. Ooh, these are gonna be nice and tight on my hands when I start using them too. There we go. These are thank you, John. Aren't they so pretty? Oh, I love these things. So these are a special type of boxing glove too. These are not boxing gloves that anyone should ever use to hit someone, punch your foes with the color. I know. Well, so that's the thing though. These are not sparring gloves or fight gloves. They have a special type of very stiff support and padding on the edges right here, and you can see they're pretty small as far as boxing gloves go. These are bag gloves, and so you only use these on a punching bag because they have the extra support so that the foam doesn't collapse from like repeated use against just a big old, like literally what's going to be just a big old bag of sand, right? Like that's what a punching bag is, big old bag of sand, or sometimes it's like, you know, leftover clothes or something like that, but it's meant to be like 150 pounds or whatever of just pure dead weight. And so these are designed for hitting those. They have a lot of extra wrist support. Like I have absolutely like no wrist movement here. So that way you can just really wail on those, and not hurt your hands and everything. This is turned hand protection into weapons. I mean, honestly, yeah, because like by not having the risk of hand injury, you can like hit harder. But by using specialized bag gloves like this, what it really lets you do is it lets you train power because you don't have to worry. Like it gives you that extra firm support of not having to worry about like bruising your knuckles or anything like that while you're hitting the bag, because the bag is so much harder and heavier than a person is, right? It's so much harder to hit a bag because like when you're hitting a person, yes, they might be 200 pounds, but it's like evenly distributed and it's like it has give. Like a person's body will give. When it's a big old bag of 200 pounds of sand, there's no give there. It's like punching concrete almost. And there's reason for that. But yeah, so these gloves are intended to be much more supportive for that. The foam won't collapse. And the other thing about these is these gloves are only 10 ounces. Typically speaking, when you're sparring, you want to spar with like 16-ounce gloves. And it seems like it would be worse to punch with heavier, because you would think that that would mean like, oh, geez, well, that's more weight hitting them. But that all of that weight is just pure padding. So it's like the more padding, the more weight worth of padding, the more like a pillow it is that you're using. So when you use your 16-ounce gloves, it's very soft, and it doesn't hurt as much to get hit by them. Most actual fights, like when you're at a boxing match, when you watch a boxing fight, they're going to use much lighter gloves. Like the tournament that I'm going to be going to next week, I'm not fighting in it. I'm going to help corner my teammates as they fight. But they'll be fighting in 12-ounce gloves, because an actual fight, you want to use lighter gloves. It makes your hands faster. And it actually is like, it's more dangerous in a way that way, but that's kind of good because it means you get hit less, before they call the fight if you're getting beat up too much. But yeah, so these ones being 10 ouncers, the point is to help you train your hand speed because your hands can move faster. And the nature of training, and I've noticed this between training and going to fights, if you're not at least sometimes training with something that is lighter weight and makes your hands move faster, if you're not training with it, it feels weird, and you can actually like hyperextend your elbows because your hands move so much faster than you're used to. So I've been wanting these so I can work on training properly. It's terrifying. It's a matter of perspective. It just kind of depends on what the different what your perspective is going into it. If you're someone who's completely averse to, the roughhousing nature of boxing, then yeah, that's totally fair. But if you're into the sport, because the flip side of it is, it's terrifying from a getting hit standpoint. But from a winning the fight standpoint, yeah, you want every advantage you can get. So faster gloves that can allow you to hit a bit harder, absolutely you want that. So it's like, the advantages that your opponent has, you have as well. But at any rate, these are the gloves. I'm so excited about these. I'm so ready to use these in training. I really, I can just feel it. Hold on, just because we're already sitting here talking about it, let me go grab my other gloves here so we can just sort of do a little comparison. I'll be right back. He is very confused about what the hell is going on. So here, this is my standard glove that I use. These are my sparring gloves. These are 16 ounces, so they're bigger and they're heavier. You can compare. Right, let me try and get a good angle here so you can see them. Right, so you can see how this one is a little bit smaller, right? And I can feel while I'm holding them that this one is definitely a lot lighter. So they're the same brand. I love this brand. I'm a big stan for Rival boxing gear. But yeah, so these are the ones that I'll normally wear when I'm sparring or training. And they you can just kind of see on my hand, it's a lot bigger. You can see there's, let me get the angle right. You can see there's a lot more wrist movement going on there because they're sparring, and so they're kind of meant for more live action, which includes being able to sort of grapple and clinch a little bit better. There's more movement in the fingertips and everything. So these ones are also stinkier because I've used them a whole lot more. But yeah, so those are, there's all kinds of different weights of boxing gloves. They range anywhere from usually about, if we're talking about actual full finger, full cover boxing gloves like this, they'll range anywhere from 8 ounces up to 18 ounces. A lot of times your mega ultra heavyweight fighters will train in they'll spar in 18 ounces to be kind, because they hit so hard, so the 18 ounces will slow down their hands a bit more and add even more padding. But yeah, I've been so excited about these. I've been so impatiently waiting for these things. Oh, I'm so happy they showed up. Hold on, I gotta try on the other one. I've only tried on one hand so far. This one has the tag still on it. Oh, look at them. They're so cool looking too. The unicorn vomit is absolutely my aesthetic for all of my boxing and fitness gear. I love the bright neon colors. That's just where it's at. Oh yes, yeah. These are so stiff. These are so much more stiff and protective. These are gonna be great for training with. It's gonna be so nice. Because the other thing that's nice about having separate bag gloves too. Because I've been using, most of us actually at the gym, just because gloves can be expensive, and so especially when you're starting out, most people will start off just getting a pair of 16-ounce gloves, and they'll use them for everything, including using them on the bag. But the problem with that is it wears them out a lot quicker. So either you have to replace your gloves more often, or you eventually reach a point where you've collapsed the foam so much that they don't actually offer much protection, and your partners hate sparring with you because you're there's less padding, there's less pillow effect going on there. So by having these separate gloves, it'll make my 16 ounces last longer and help them stay softer for sparring. So this is just going to be a great thing for me training, and I'm super excited to use these bad boys. It's going to be so cool. Gonna be so cool. I'm so happy right now. I'm so happy right now. My only regret is that there's not that we don't have class tonight, so I don't have the chance to go and use them tonight. But that's okay. I will be able to use them tomorrow at class. It will be an amazingly awesome time, and I will be a very, very happy boy. And I will just be the belle of the ball, because again, just look at how pretty they are. Look, it's on the palm, it's on the back. The only place it's not, and this is such a cool thing, and this is one of the things that I love about Rival, because they actually think about the functionality of their cool looking things, right? What I love is, notice how there's no patterning on the actual contact point, right? So I don't need to worry about the design wearing off right? They didn't put the design on the part that you actually hit with. It's just solid black leather. So no matter how much I use them, you know, the design is going to stay intact. So they're still going to look nice even though I use them. So it's like they're not just a decorative collector's item. They're actually like a usable, really cool item. So I absolutely love it, because you can see a little bit with these ones, because they're sparring gloves, you're not making as much heavy contact. So they have the patterns and stuff. Like you can see they've got, where's my angle? There we go. You can see they've got a pattern here and a pattern here. And I guess it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but you can kind of see where the pattern is starting to look kind of worn out and faded just from all the contact and the use. So it's like, you know, for these ones, that's not as big of a deal, because when you're sparring and you're just like hitting each other's gloves and stuff, it's not the same rubbing abrasive effect as hitting like one of them heavy leather or canvas bags. But they're so cool. Okay, I'll stop geeking out about it. I know no one really cares as much as I do, but gosh dang it, I'm so excited. I'm just maybe people will find my excitement infectious, even if the topic itself isn't as exciting and infectious to them. I don't know, man. It's just because, like, I know I love listening to other people get passionate and excited about stuff that they're passionate and excited about. So, you know, maybe if I offer that up to other people. But I love kickboxing. I think it's awesome. I think martial arts in general are awesome. Even if you don't ever intend to compete, the discipline and the hard work you have to learn to be able to do to handle martial arts is something that's hard, especially as an adult, to find anywhere else in life, right? Like, the concept of doing a sport where you have to train and work hard and put yourself through the rigors to be able to be good at it is something most of us lose kind of after school, right? Unless you go pro, which happens to so few people in the world, that kind of runs out unless you are someone who likes to run or swim laps at the community center, right? So for me, martial arts is such an awesome thing. Like, I have chosen one of the most violent ones because apparently I'm just that insane with Muay Thai. But just generally speaking, training a martial art, like, I cannot recommend it enough. Because if you're just looking for some sort of structure, some sort of discipline in life, because that learning that discipline and that structure translates to so much else in life, right? Like, if you can have the discipline to go in and put in the work, you know, 2, 3, 5 times a week, whatever you have the time and energy for, if you can get yourself to do that, it gets a lot easier to tell yourself to have the focus to, you know, work on that other goal that you're trying to do, so you can have a different career one day, right? You know, get your you know, a new bachelor's degree or a master's degree or something like that. Just learning how to have that self-discipline is such an important and valuable thing. And like I say, I think as adults, our society is kind of set up to have us kind of lose that, right? We work really hard to instill that in ourselves and in our children, but then suddenly we become adults and it's like, okay, all done with that. Now you sit at a desk and you don't go anywhere, you know, forever. And it just, you know, we lose that. So I don't know. That's just me waxing poetic about it. I love martial arts. I'm always going to be ready to sing the praises of martial arts. I absolutely adore it. I love Muay Thai kickboxing. If you ever have the opportunity to try it, I highly recommend it. Like I say, if you're at a good gym, they won't be pushing you to compete if you don't want to compete anyway. So just the discipline of training and trying to keep up with the training regimen, especially if there are other people that are training to fight, it's a very valuable thing. Plus, you get fit. I mean, I look great right now. I actually have noticeable abs. It's awesome. I didn't have those a year ago. I was recovering from, you know, about a pretty strong depression post-COVID and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that I'm like sitting here with abs, actually excited about going to the beach this summer, like, that's hard to do. That's hard to do, you know. And just if you can have fun hitting a bag doing it, like, who doesn't have a little aggression that they want to get out just by smacking up a big giant bag of sand? You know, it's like one of the least destructive ways to get out aggression is to just smack up a big giant hanging bag of sand. Like, that's literally what it is. Sometimes it's water. Sometimes it's torn up cloth. It depends on what it is. We use sand at ours. Like I say, the bottoms and the sand like percolates down, so the top gets nice and soft and flimsy of the bag. But then you get to the bottom when you're doing like leg kick level stuff, and it's just like kicking a brick. It's great for letting out aggression. So I don't know. If you ever have questions about it, ask me about it. I will happily, as you can see, talk your ear off about it for hours, days, weeks, months, years, whatever. However long it takes for you to get tired of me talking about it, I'll happily do it. But that brings us to some like perfect timing for me to go ahead and do a sign off. So hold on, let me just fix my thing here before I forget to do that. I think that's probably about the size we had it. At the very least, it's a good size to put it back at. Oh, maybe it was like a little bit. Maybe it was more like right there. That's fine. It's good enough. We'll do that. Let's bring ourselves to just chatting. Let me sign off a little bit. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone who did. And thank you, if you're still here, thank you for being patient as I have a nerdgasm over my new boxing gloves. Like I say, something that I'm super well aware of the fact that very few people are as interested in it as I am. But thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys stopping by and showing interest in the things that I do and indulging me in my hobbies and everything. It's just, it's a good time for us all. I appreciate it. Rest of this week, I know Thursday I will probably be starting a little late. I have a meeting that's supposed to run until close to noon, I believe. So I will probably start a little bit late on Thursday. I will probably put an announcement on Discord about that, as well as on Twitter, which, by the way, just if you want to be connected, I have a Discord server. I have Twitter, Enviro Streams on Twitter. And then if you want to see me using those gloves in action, find me on Instagram, EnviroBoy Streams. You better believe I'm going to upload clips of me using those new gloves. And then just while I'm on the topic of connection, I also have my YouTube channel, EnviroBoy. You can find all the VODs of everything that I put up there. But yeah, so this week, we should still be sticking with the normal schedule largely. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. Mondays and Thursdays being writing. Tuesdays and Fridays being gaming. But like I say, this Thursday probably starting a little late for writing. It's just how it goes sometimes. You know, you get meetings, got to pay the bills, all that kind of stuff. But other than that, this week's schedule should be fine. I'm going to start giving a heads up notice now. Next week, I may not stream at all. There's a chance I'll stream Monday and Tuesday, but I'm giving myself permission to not stream at all next week. Next week, as I mentioned, is the kickboxing tournament that we have multiple people from my gym going to, that I'm going to be helping them sort of in the back and helping with cornering and helping them find success there. I'm not fighting myself this time. It'd be a little quick after getting knocked out at my last fight for me to be fighting in a tournament here. That'd be now that is just asking for some CTE right there. So there's being tough and there's being dumb, and I do my very best to know where that line is. But at any rate, next week, depending on sort of what we need to do to prepare for that, I know for a fact I won't be on Thursday or Friday next week because I will not even be home. Monday and Tuesday though, we may be very busy prepping stuff, and I may have to be doing a lot of prep work for the team and for myself for that trip. So, that one will be a play by ear. I'll put announcements about if I'm going live on those times. So you guys will know at least as soon as I do when I decide I have time and energy to stream, if that happens. But this week we should be largely normal. So we'll enjoy this week, and then we'll look towards a little bit of a mini summer break next week, and then we'll be back in July. Because we're already almost to July. Time is flying by, but yeah, I think that's all I got. I think that's all of the announcements that I had for today. So again, thank you so much. I really appreciate all you guys stopping by. I don't know, I just have so much fun with all this stuff. This is a cool thing that I get to do with my day, and I appreciate you coming and sharing that time with me. So take care of yourselves. Have a good rest of y'all Monday. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday, for gaming, we're going to hopefully finish up Tell Me Why. We started that one. It's been a fun, interesting mystery, not quite visual novel, kind of Life is Strange-ish in how it's written and played. But we're going to try and finish that one tomorrow. So stop by if you want to see what the conclusion of that one is. But then, yeah, and then there's the rest of the week. So whenever I see you next, I'm looking forward to it. Take care of yourselves, and as always, I'll catch you cats on the flip side. Hell yeah. God, I gotta go use these gloves now. Holy crap. Oh, I'm excited.